let's grab our Factspiration question for the week. Jones, you can definitely answer this if you are interested in having Factspiration or filling up your inspiration. You're starting with 1 DM inspiration, but you can have up to 3 in my games. Let's see. Aw. All right. Has your character ever been in love with whom? Has your character ever been in love with whom? That is going to be the question today. While you ruminate on that question, does anybody for a point of DM inspiration want to sum up what happened last time on Walking Through Barovia? If you're interested, go ahead and roll a d20 into chat. Darius, strong, with a 2. Going once, going twice. And sold to Darius. Darius, have you ever been... No, wait. No, that's not the Factspiration. Darius, tell us what happened last time. Sorry, I was so eager to find out if Darius was in love with anybody. Ooh,
I'm just laughing because there's an 85% chance someone could have rolled higher and taken this. So last time on Curse of Strahd, oh man, where to kind of start? So we were still at Jenny's hut, figuring out some of the stuff that we could buy from her. She had quite a, I guess, selection of concoctions and potions and tinctures and whatever witches have. But I think some of this stuff can actually be useful since we're not very well versed, I guess, in magic. So having this stuff could help us out. But when we were done with that, we had a little bit of further talks with her about the evil tree that kind of grows up on Yester Hill. She said it was a Gulthias tree, and some people have tried to chop it down and burn it down and all that stuff over the course of years, but it's always grown back. But we would need to literally rip that sumbitch out of the earth, salt the earth, and just put it to the flame and hope that thing don't come back. So it gave us at least some ideas for what else we were kind of buying from her. A bunch of fire bombs at least. See if that helps. When we started to leave the woods, I don't think Tiernan would want to say it, but I think we may have been a little lost. I could have sworn I saw one of the trees a couple of times. But after a few hours, we did actually hit the road again, and we started heading towards the winery. On our way there, we ran into a bunch of, I guess, woodsmen. One of them, I think his name was Soldar, and the other was Yevgeny. I think that's how you pronounce their names. I'd seen them before at Erwin and Danica's place, and they call themselves the Wolf Hunters. I guess they don't really do business cards or anything here, but it'd be good to kind of know of them at a later date. But we did pass along warning that Valakai was under attack and they need to be super careful. So they left and appreciate the heads up. We camped for the night. I think Tiernan said that he saw a couple of werewolves that were circling the camp, but when he pointed towards Luke, they backed off. So at least he's useful. We continued traveling for the rest of the day until we got to the winery and met with Davian. And there was, I guess, a couple of things that we were discussing. I guess there's like an order to the vampires. I guess the Dark Lord is a noble one, and he's like one of the few that are able to make other vampires. So that gives us a little bit. There's also things called Dampiers, which I remember that one character, Blade, was called a Dampier. So I guess that's the same thing as that. And then we started talking about Yester Hill and how we wanted to use the wine stones for that. Davian was kind of on board, but he at least wanted one of the wine stones so it could be planted, and then if we were able to get the other ones, he would let us have those to start taking a sledgehammer to the Dark Lord's connection to the land that Jenny had told us. And we also kind of told him about the tree that the information that we got from Jenny about the tree that's up there. Also the readings that we got from Madame Ava, because it seemed like he was pretty curious about that stuff, so we filled him in. And then we just spent the rest of the evening just trying to relax as best we could while we waited for Muriel to come back, because we had Davian send her a message. In the morning, we woke up and found out that she had arrived just a few hours earlier, and she gave us a full rundown of what happened in Valakai. And it was bad. Where to start? So I guess the rain that we had saw earlier that day started to come down, and that put a real damper on whatever the Baron was trying to do. I think he was trying to light like some monument or something on fire. I think the festival was called the Blazing Sun, so that makes sense. But that rain was kind of stopping him from doing so, and someone laughed when he was trying to do it, and I guess the guy just lost his shit. He took that dude, tied him to the back of a horse, and dragged him through town until the dude died. That seemed to have been the last straw for a lot of people. They didn't want to be a part of this anymore, so they just rioted against the Baron and the guards. While that was happening, our new friends, the Cold Shoulders, decided to make their move and start causing even more chaos. When that happened, it seems like old man Richard was taking matters into his own hands, and he brought out, I think Muriel called it a golem, to fight the vampires. I don't know how that all panned out, because she said that she didn't see a body after Richard's body afterwards, so maybe he's alive, maybe he's dead. She tried to get Erwin and his family to safety, and then she took shelter in the church while everything was fucking going crazy. But that was not a safe place apparently, because while Father Lucian had made it a safe point for people to kind of hole up while everything was going outside, it seems that the Dark Lord made a personal appearance alongside one of his brides, and they slaughtered everyone inside that place, and even bit Father Lucian, so he's probably gonna be a vampire. So now Lady Wagner rules the place. The Baron and his family, apparently they're all crucified. Don't know what happened to Isaac. No one saw him. Maybe he's alive, maybe he's dead. And it sounds like Lady Wagner is now preparing a militia to march on Kresik to get them to open for trade. So things are fucked there. And to make things even better, when we were trying to think of what we wanted to do, a bat flew in and dropped a letter to us saying, and it was a personal letter from the Dark Lord inviting us to dinner. He wanted to thank us for getting him reignited with the world outside. So now we have to figure out what the fuck to do.
All right, good recap. A lot happened considering you just walked down the road. Okay. Do you want fact inspiration or DM inspiration?
Can I roll a retroactive insight check to see how Anna felt about using the things to take away power from the Dark Lord, seeing as she kind of wants to be the next ruler.
A retroactive. Oh man, buddy, that session's over. That session's over. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities.
I'm gonna wait till somebody brings it up and then
Oh, okay, all
look
right.
straight on it.
I was wondering when people were gonna start insight checking me.
Yeah. Okay. So, well done. Do you want inspiration or
Oh, I
fact
took
inspiration?
DM.
All right. So if anybody's interested in answering the fact-spiration question real quick, just go ahead and roll into chat. In addition to getting a fact-spiration, which is the D6 still, that lasts the whole session, you can also ask any NPC the same question that you've met. All right. Ayla in the lead, going once, going twice. Sold to Ayla. Ayla, have you ever been in WoW? With who?
So easy answer. No, she has not.
Oh wow. Okay.
She would like to be, but she's
okay. So she's not aromantic.
correct. She's never allowed herself that chance. She finds the generally the men from her encampment somewhat boorish and mostly like her brothers. You know, she's grown up with them so much that she just once you babysat for someone, you're like no. So
we got a Danica situation on our hands. You're looking for maybe a non-Vistani outside the. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. You may ask the same question of any NPC you've met during the adventure.
Ooh.
Here, I'll just get Claudia Belasco
out. You don't have to ask. Yeah. I'll ask her. Yeah.
No, you're not gonna ask her. Okay, who are you asking?
No. I'll definitely ask her.
Oh, okay. All right. So, who is Claudia Belasco? Yeah, of course, at her extended age. Claudia Belasco was in love. She was in love with her husband. But alas, her husband and her son, they died. They went out hunting, and they never came back. She spent many years waiting for them, and never actually found out what happened to them. It is assumed, of course, that the horrors of Barovia happened to them. But she took what she had and used it to sort of help the people of Valakai, and she had sort of befriended a lot of the local nobles and leadership and whatnot, who, you know, if you help her do good works, it's like you did the good works yourself, kind of thing. And then when she saw Lydia Petrovna had married the Baron and was kind of a kind-hearted woman, she approached her with the idea of the orphanage, and they opened the orphanage up and all that kind of stuff. So yes, she was in love once, but she never made time for romantic love again.
Aww.
Yeah.
Why are all the best NPCs the old ladies?
Right?
I don't know, but apparently that in Final Fantasy 16, all the best NPCs are middle-aged milfs. So,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
If we all die, we play the old ladies, and our name is the Golden Ghouls.
Golden Ghouls. Oh man, Curse of Grandma. All right. Yeah. Well, to further complicate your issues, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do like sort of a narrative intro because I thought this was such a good idea for an intro. So, theater of the mind, meta camera. Your characters don't see this, but you, the players, do. All right. So, this guy, Thomas, he's a park ranger, works for the state of Seattle. Gets called to investigate disappearance, help the local police with this disappearance. Apparently, a group of people went up to the old dirt manor. Why they would do something so crazy, going up to an old abandoned house, who knows? Maybe they were trying to film some kind of like horror movie, Hollywood types, who knows? He went up to the house. They looked everywhere. Couldn't find the people. The people were definitely there. Their vehicles were there. A lot of their luggage was there. But it was like Roanoke, Virginia. There was just no sign of them. They spent many, many days searching. into weeks searching, and eventually the investigation, the search was just called off. But for Thomas, it just never felt right. So the nightmares started. Always about the house, always drawn to the house, the mystery of it. Where did they go? What happened to these people? One night, he woke in his cabin, cold sweat. Bones, his loyal service animal, woke up as well. In a flurry, he just grabbed his basic bitch equipment. He and Bones hopped into the pickup truck, and they drove back up the fucking hill, keeping an eye out for moose. They're very dangerous at this time of year. As he crested the hill, and the manor house was supposed to come into sight, it wasn't there. Just an open field. He parked his vehicle. He looked around. He checked his global GPS positioning system. He was sure he'd been up to this house so many times since the incident, trying to find clues, trying to understand what happened. Where's the fucking house? He's not in the right place. He slaps himself. Is he dreaming? No. They start to look around, flashlight in the mist and the fog, but it starts to settle in and starts to get really thick. And as he and Bones walk out the other side of this fog bank, this choking mist, he finds himself in a field of grapes, a vineyard, and off in the distance, a ramshackle estate. The only sign of civilization that he can see. And then, I guess, Thomas, what do you do?
Well, first, he scratches his head and goes, what the F? He'd heard there had been, meth houses out here on the mountain, but, he never thought he'd stumble into one. But being turned around as he is, he's gonna go and knock on the door.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, so as you guys are kind of going over the letter, you see a man and his dog come out of the vineyard. They seem to be headed towards the house with a purpose. So Jones, give us an establishing shot, if you would, of Thomas and Bones.
All right. So you see this man. It's about Tom Cruise height, kind of scrawny. He's wearing a green Carhartt jacket, matching slacks, a gray button-down shirt, and a wide brim leather ranger's hat. Next to him is a German Shepherd, a fine boy indeed. Looks a little older, and they kind of wave hello and go, "Hello there."
All right, those of you from Seattle, or from Earth, you recognize this very modern park ranger uniform and the very modern equipment that he is carrying with him.
Those are Carhartts. What is? This is to the group. This did we accidentally bring someone along?
Hey.
Wait, is he wearing blue jeans?
Thomas, are you wearing blue jeans?
Rugged cargoes, probably blue jeans plus.
Not here.
Oh, that was a first mistake.
Easy money, just down the drain.
All right.
It's fine. He has all his World War tokens.
I had 3 pairs of extra jeans with me.
Those go far in this world.
Are you lost?
How?
Yeah, he'll turn around like, yeah. There's a map in his hand. I seem to be turned around in the mists here. Suppose you
Oh.
can help me out.
Thomas,
Yes!
give me a history check.
All right, history.
Okay.
Oh, did I do that 3 times? I'm bad.
Okay. Okay. They are showing up hidden for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I need you to do before we go any further, go to the gear in the top right.
Yep.
All right. Go to configure settings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So under core settings, you're gonna want to scroll down, and where it says pan token to speaker, you're gonna want to uncheck that.
Gotcha.
And then scroll further where it says left click to release objects, you're gonna want to check that. And then where do we go to get him to roll 2 dice? Let's see. Trying to remember which mod we use for 2 dice. You gotta turn on always roll 2 dice. I'm trying to remember where you go to turn on always roll 2 dice.
Might be ready, set, roll.
Yes. All right. So you're gonna scroll down on the left-hand side until you see ready, set, roll. And then inside ready, set, roll, you are going to look for an option to always roll 2 dice.
Yeah, it's called always roll multiple dice.
Always roll multiple dice. You must have that checked. All right. Cool.
Got it.
Continuing. Okay. So you don't recognize any of the people here, except this man, because his appearance is so striking from the police photos that you have studied. The others have undergone serious trauma, changes, whatnot, but this guy, you recognize right away. The red hair, the burnt face. This is one of the people that went missing at the Durst Manor.
All right. Thomas's eyes will widen a little bit, and he'll point and go, "You're Tiernan Beckett.
I
Where the-
am
Where in the hell have you been?"
where you are now.
You know this guy?
No.
No. He'll pause there, and he'll say, "My name's Ranger Chapman. I'm with the Mount Rainier Park Service. We've been looking for you for weeks."
Oh. I guess I didn't.
Where's
We've
everyone else?
got some news for you then. It seems that soon they're going to be looking for you too. I don't mean this as a threat or anything. You're just not home anymore.
Did you see a whole bunch of like fog?
Well, yeah.
And you went through that fog, yeah.
Well, I suppose it just kind of came up on me. Yeah. Yeah, he'll like bring out his map, and you notice it's a map of Mount Rainier State Park, and he's like, and there's a big red circle on it that says Durst Manor, and he's like, I thought I was here.
Yeah, you're not gonna need that anymore.
You're in Barovia now.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, there you go. Pull out the Band-Aid.
If you look on that map, do you see like a winery or anything?
Well, no, that's silly. I mean, I don't suppose, but it is embarrassing. I get turned around, but you guys mind if I use your phone? I'm not getting any service out here.
Oh boy. Oh.
This is gonna sound. Look, this is gonna sound crazy, okay? But I just need you. I need you to listen to everything I'm gonna say.
How about we sell in the ports so if this die falls
Yeah,
on
this
his
is
ass?
this is what. Yeah, let's take a seat here. I'm sure that the Mardikovs won't mind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, Davian Mardukov is just kind of watching what is going on here, because we ended the session with you guys kind of asking his general opinion of this, of the invitation and what you should do next. And so yeah, he's watching with great interest this new arrival and your interaction with him.
So, a few weeks ago, as you know, we went to a retreat at the Durst Manor in the mountains near Seattle. We were there for a night, and things started being strange, we'll say. There were a mist descended on the house, and it was unsafe to leave that night. Once we left the next day, after a few trials, we'll say, we were not in Washington anymore. This isn't the area around Seattle. You're a ranger. I'm sure that you've noticed that this doesn't look right. We're in a different world now, Thomas. It's called Barovia.
All right, Thomas will he'll take it all in with measured patience, and after a short pause, he'll say, "Bullshit."
Okay, from the back of the group, a handsome man with platinum blonde hair, wearing old-timey like hunting leathers and with a wolf pelt on his shoulder as sort of a mantle. He looks at all of you and he says, "Oh, he's having trouble adapting. You want me to speed it up for him?" You know what? I don't even know why I'm asking. He goes into his hybrid form, and you watch, Thomas, this horrifying, not person in a fursuit transformation of tufts of fur bursting through this guy's flesh, blood, gore, the muscles growing. A creature was inside that kid, and it has erupted out. Pieces of flesh no longer needed dangle from long bloody tufts of fur, and the wolf head of this werewolf snarls down at you, and he says, "They're telling you the truth."
Well, that works.
Definitely less traumatic ways we could have done that, Luke.
Yeah,
So Thomas, yeah, give me a wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Okay.
Oh, did that?
That worked.
Yeah. Okay. It's pretty fucked up. In your brain, the little SpongeBobs are making a big decision. Do we lose our mind? Do we make up an excuse? Maybe we're dreaming, maybe we're having a hallucination, or do we accept that maybe this is really fucking happening?
We'll split the difference. Thomas will fall out of his seat and kind of scramble back, going, "Holy shit!" And his
Bones is just barking like fucking crazy out.
He will interpose himself, and he'll snarl and like he's got like sets of like titanium teeth that just bare. It's like, because that's the thing that happens with police dogs.
Oh, geez. All right.
That's disturbing to know.
Yeah.
That's OC.
So Luke smiles down at Bones, and he looks over at you, Thomas, and he says, he gets it.
Honestly, that's not the worst thing that we've seen since we've been here. We've seen everything from just horror movies, honestly. Zombies, vampires, werewolves, points at Luke. Fucking flesh monsters. People in fucking crazy mask. It's been a thing.
Thomas will shake his head and he'll go, no. I mean, I admit I'm a little off the reservation, and he'll point out the door, but Kansas is still out there.
That's a good pull. That's a good pull. All right, so Bones is gonna keep an eye on Luke and kind of be interposed between the two of you. But his response, again, he's just kind of taking it as it comes. As an animal, even a domesticated animal, I mean, they just kind of take things at face value. Davian Mardikoff, this old, handsome, grizzled sort of vineyard owner, definitely nothing else beyond that. He says, you've been through a lot. This happens to outsiders. You are fortunate to have come through the mist into a relatively safe place. It seems you are from the same world and time as these fine folk. I would advise staying with them for your own safety. How rude of me. My name is Davian Mardikov, and this is my vineyard and my home. What they tell you, Thomas, is true. We live in a world that is in between worlds. It draws people in and traps them here. It is a realm of darkness, full of evil and terrors. This is a lot to understand and take in. And the fact that your mind has not completely shut down yet shows that you might be able to survive. But perhaps we should give you some time. Are you hungry?
I don't know if we're gonna have time. We just got invited to that fucking castle.
He looks at you and he says, here, I will attend to Thomas. We will get him fed, and perhaps away from you, he will be less overwhelmed. But, Thomas, you cannot stay here with me. Outsiders draw attention and danger, and I cannot have that happening here with my family exposed. These people are your people. Wherever they go, it would be best for you to go with them. But for now, come, let us get you something warm to drink and eat.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
Right. Luke looks around and says, I'm just trying to be helpful. I don't understand. You can't make up your minds about anything. You beat around the bush all the time. I don't know what the Alpha even saw in you guys. And now what? You're gonna just jump because the Dark Lord told you to?
In case you forgot, and it kind of points to Muriel, she just said that the Dark Lord showed up in Valakai and just started slaughtering people. So if we want that to start happening to us, I don't know. Fucking play along for now. I thought we'd at least have a couple of days before we have to even get anything involved in this.
As Anna has said multiple times, it is time to get involved.
What do we do about the new one?
Guess he's coming with. Can't leave him on his own.
He will be like a baby here.
Mackenzie says, well, respectfully, he is a park ranger. Where we come from, they do undergo a lot of training, and they have a lot of knowledge, and they are familiar with wilderness travel, exploration, animals, bears. I mean, it's not like, I don't know, it's not like the local school teacher came looking for us. I mean, I do feel incredibly guilty, though. Like, he's here because of us.
Yeah.
Maybe it was meant to be, Mackenzie.
Don't start that now.
Well, no, because we were poached by that Aragol guy. He told us just as much. It was a trap set for us. He was just trying to do the right thing.
He was doing his job. People who get lost out in the woods, it's his job to go try and find them. Or at least make the woods safe for people if they decide to go out there.
Oh, wait. This feels like a good Luke opportunity. He says, well, if he's good at being out in the woods, then maybe you won't get lost as much. Nailed it.
Kiernan does his best.
And it's like Curse of Strahd that never left.
Aw, no. He is a sweet boy, and Luke was a sweet boy character, but you know, a little abrasive
Yeah.
in this party of low charisma characters. He's got a 4 charisma, y'all. He's tried his best.
He's part of the average.
All right, so Anna, their explanation, it does sound like they did use the word ranger, and ranger is a term thrown around in D&D land for people who are essentially master scouts and huntsmen.
He's willing to accept what they say.
Yeah, okay. I'm just kind of giving you like the Barovian equivalent, and same with you, Ayla. Like, they, you know, ranger is a term well known throughout the multiverse as a person that is at home and very skilled in the wilderness. There are rumors that in the 5th Age of Magic, it's the 2nd strongest class after monk. So
These
mileage may vary.
Land, these parks from your land sound very dangerous if they need such able protectors.
I mean, definitely not as dangerous as here. That's 100% sure. Not as dangerous as here. This is far worse.
But they were dangerous before I just want to say settled. We don't need to complicate it. Nobody complicate it. Before we settled it, it was just forest everywhere, and it was just full of danger. So these guys are like the descendants of those guys. It's almost like an order of knights. She looks at Tiernan and Darius.
And I can get on board with that. She nods.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we kind of have reps from 3 different orders of knights, you know, like police, fire and rescue, and park ranger. Yep.
Very
We're
well.
gonna be fine. Traveling.
She's gonna insight check just how thick that bullshit is.
Darius, can you give me a deception from Mackenzie, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
With her +1.
Oh, damn. With her nat 20,
Oof.
you can't believe that they've been sitting on this knowledge. Tiernan and Mackenzie are part of a secret order of knights from Earth? And they
she does have a gun. So
yeah, just now they decide to drop that nugget of information? Holy shit. Now you got a third one from Park Rangers? Not a great name, but maybe that's, I don't know. Yeah.
That is very impressive. I hope your
Mhm.
deeds live up to that reputation.
Hey, so far so good, she says.
All right. So, we accepting this dinner invite or not? Because if we
course.
are, we're gonna have to make our way back to Valakai, which fucking
Should I-
sucks since we
should
came
I
all
take
the
you-
way out here.
Take you guys, oh shoot, I think you guys, yeah, do you want me to take you to the map table or no?
I think we know the.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we essentially just have to get back to the main road and then travel back to Valakai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like we just came from there.
Alright.
Darius would call over Muriel and ask her, "What do you intend to do?" I think we're gonna be heading to the castle.
I will not be going to the castle. I will stay here and keep an eye on Yester Hill. I have a bad feeling about what the Faithless will do next.
Sounds good.
If
Best of luck.
things seem to be, if things are looking dangerous, I may try to call upon you for help. I don't expect you to answer. You are not beholden to me or my family. But we recognize your strength and your courage. And if I were to ever reach out for help, you are the first that come to mind.
I mean, like we told you, we got business up there, so 2 birds, 1 stone. Sorry.
Yeah, she kind of narrows her eyes at that. Kind of narrows her eyes. What's the gruesome saying?
Yeah.
Mm.
4 charisma. Sorry, 3 the lowest in the group.
All right, so on the road, it is 13 hours back to Valakai. That is if there's no bad weather and you stay on the road. It's 13 hours. That would necessitate 5 checks if you powered through, 5 Constitution saves against exhaustion, or you would have to stop for an 8-hour rest at some point during the journey. So just sort of keep that in mind. Once there, allegedly, you will be provided transportation the rest of the way. Which is good, because the mileage that you would have to go by road to get to Castle Ravenloft from Valakai, I think is something along the lines of like 70 miles or something.
Yeah, I think when we start looking at the map again, we're like, yeah, there's no fucking way we're making that in 3 days. All the way to the castle.
Yeah, we make it to Valakai in 2.
Unless Walkner has a helicopter, you're not sure how she's going to get you there in time, but that's the best you got according to the thing. It's 57 miles by road from Valakai to Castle Ravenloft.
Well, I think we just need to get to Valakai, and I mean, if we end up being late to the dinner, that's on Lady Walkner's fault. We followed instructions.
True. I'll be just a moment. And Ayla runs into the house.
Okay.
I think we just need to keep our heads down until after we're done at the castle. I think we want to try to avoid starting anything before then.
Yeah.
It's about at this point probably 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. So
We should leave post haste.
Guess
Right.
we'll check to see if Tom's good.
Yeah, Anna will go get Thomas.
all right. So Thomas,
Oh boy.
it just feels like you're in like some Eastern European medieval like scene from a movie. Like there's adorable children going around. He has children that are adults that live with him. The whole family just kind of lives on this vineyard. There is a somber sort of sadness and caution in the eyes and demeanor of the adults. But the children being children, they are just sort of fascinated by your dog, and they ask for permission to pet and interact with the dog.
Pets are always given.
Okay,
Always
so then,
allowed.
yeah, so they're very excited, and they're playing with the dog, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. They give you essentially warm tea. It is very bitter. And then there is some leftover breakfast, which is some kind of like sausage with potatoes, like breakfast potatoes.
He'll pick at it. How do these people look? I mean, he's used to American people. I guess he's kind
They
of
have
wondering
a
about the
very like Eastern European, Romanian kind of like villager vibe, like kind of commoner vibe. And yeah, if your guy Thomas, if he goes to the Ren Fest, which they got a real good one in that part of Washington State, like it kind of feels like if you pretended hard enough that you were just at a booth essentially at the Renaissance Festival. That's how, but it's so authentic. It's so authentic. Everything is real. The people, including the Americans you were looking for, all are very stinky. Everything is dirty and everything smells very bad. But now you live with service animal, you live out in the woods, all that kind of stuff. But I'm assuming as an American born, you're probably a bit cleaner than most. And so this would be a very, very dirty place. Even the home, which they keep clean, is probably cleaner than the people themselves. And the food is very like the meat. It doesn't have the same taste as meat from like home. You're pretty sure that it's pork, but it's just, I don't know. Everything kind of has this otherworldly feel. I don't know how much world traveling you've done, but it definitely feels both foreign and also kind of alien.
Yeah, Thomas he's not a far traveler, actually. He's only lived in Seattle for the last year. It's the farthest he's ever traveled. But yeah, it is disconcerting. He is kind of peering around, trying to see if there's a meth lab around the corner somewhere. But he asks, like, how long have you people lived out here? Still trying to wrap his head around squatters on the park.
Yeah, Davian's daughter Stefania, she says, our family has lived in Barovia for centuries. We were one of the founding families that came here with the Dark Lord when he conquered the region.
The Dark Lord? That sounds like some 1800s cultish business.
Well, he has a title in the name, but it is considered bad luck to speak it aloud. Perhaps on the road you may ask of your companions such details. Suffice to say they will understand. If you call him the Devil or the Dark Lord, they will know the meaning. He's a tyrant who rules with an iron fist and through fear.
All right. You'll make a mental note to call the cops when he gets back home.
Has your character seen the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie, The Village?
Yes.
All right.
Probably very much
Maybe
like that.
maybe that's what's happening. Maybe you wandered through the fog and you're in like a small community that likes to live action role play. Do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's what's happening. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. If so, they're all really good at it. Because they seem very comfortable and very, they're good actors. If that's what's going on here. All right. At that point, the mysteriously beautiful but maybe a little spooky woman comes in to see you. And I guess with a new player, can we get fresh establishing shot of Anna?
Anna is like Crash said, fairly attractive if she tried. She's not very well put together right now because we've been on the road for a while. Probably about 5'6", fair-skinned, brown hair to shoulder length, very... looks like she's light on her heels. She wears brown and black leathers, has multiple weapons and a shield on her back. The one thing that you do notice is the slightly luminescent blue eyes she has. She doesn't appear to... You know, some people kind of like zone out. Sometimes when you look at her, that's kind of the way she appears. But she would be waiting for Davian and Thomas to finish talking before she would intercede. Sir Thomas, I am Anna.
Thomas will take a look at your armor and your weapons, and he'll say, "You look like serious business."
Thank you. Is Thomas armed?
I guess we never decided that. Is he?
I mean, if you were going out possibly into the woods at night, I assume that you would bring probably a rifle with you. Does that sound right? Yeah.
Yep, that's fair enough. I just couldn't add anything.
All right, I'll give you a hunting rifle real quick.
Good enough.
All right.
I'm assuming,
yeah. Oh,
assuming Anna's never seen a rifle before, but she probably was described something from either Darius or Mackenzie about it, so she kind of knows what the basic idea
You
is.
can probably get like some of the basic shapes from it. It looks like a very larger version of a max pistol and longer barrel and some other stuff added to it, but like you would see like, you know, the handle and the trigger and all that stuff.
Mr. Durst could have had a musket.
True. She would say, Sir Thomas, we are a group of travelers by the name of the Walking Dead. We travel these lands to try to help. We have been asked to come to the castle from the Dark Lord himself. And we would like you to come with us since the Raven here will not allow you to stay.
All right. Thomas catches the Walking Dead reference, smiles a little bit, and goes, "All right, I can play along."
Says it will be dangerous. I hope you are able to defend yourself if needed.
Never had the occasion, but I'm not too worried.
We will be going to the castle by way of a town named Valakai, and without going into too much detail, she'll just say something terrible happened there. And this will be the first time we have returned since that happening. If you are ready, you can gather your things, and we are departing and ready to go. And I will introduce you to the rest.
Fair enough. Yep. The prospect of going back to town is what catches his attention. So yeah, he'll come with you.
Okay.
And Crash, I want to get just a quick vibe check from the dog to Anna.
Okay. Let's see. Because of your spooky nature, and this being a earth modern domesticated dog, it's definitely going to sense something is off about you. I don't know if it would necessarily be a bad thing. But yeah. So the dog is Thomas Bones is quiet and cautious around Anna. He does not approach her for sniffs and pats. Does not bark at her, does not growl at her, but he stares at her in a very disconcerting way, occasionally kind of cocking his head like he is seeing more than maybe you are.
That's fair. She won't antagonize him.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Fair
she'll just wait for you, and we'll walk out to the rest with you when you're ready.
Yeah, Thomas will thank this gentleman for his hospitality and go join the others.
Okay. All right, so mechanically, I added a rifle with 50 ammo. That is going to take one of your modern day tokens, though.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
And Ayla had run into the house a while ago too.
Okay, so Ayla, what are you looking for in the house?
She was looking for Stefania, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, you find her. She's with her dad. They're kind of at this point. I guess you would kind of move in. Anna, being slightly faster, probably would have gotten to the room first. So in the hall, you kind of hear the conversation happening, and then they start to head out. So what's the establishing shot of Ayla, by the way?
So as Tom, as you pass Ayla on the way out, you see a young woman, beautiful, but like knows she's beautiful, you know. So like puts effort into it, and then like expects compliments, kind of thing. And is dressed like, you know, has olive skin, green eyes, long brown hair pulled back, dressed like very much like a Ren Fair, like peasant blouse, tiered skirts, has that Romani Eastern European like vibe to her, and smells local, if that helps.
Thomas will tip his hat, ma'am.
So that's all she'll give you.
All right. So as they walk past, you see Stefania is in the room.
Stefania, may I have a moment, please?
Of course. What do you need?
We are about to head out to the castle and going to dinner. I would like to make an impression, and I was hoping maybe you had something more appropriate. As she like points to her clothing, maybe a gown of sorts.
She chuckles and she says, "We are farmers, and we long ago stopped worrying about the customs and expectations of nobles. I don't have anything. There is a clothier's shop in Valakai that does specialize in such things. It is run by twin brothers. You could look them up on your way if you care so much. You might be cautious, though. The Dark Lord loves beautiful things. You would not want him to... Well, you would not want too much of his attention, I would think.
I am worried that either I already have it or something else has happened. And does Stefania pick up on Ayla's nature, if that makes sense?
I don't think so. They kind of have more of a keen sense for other lycanthropes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She will... I don't know if she trusts Stefania enough for that. That's all she'll say. And
Okay.
she'll get the info for the shop and then follow Thomas and Anna out pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, the fancy clothier is run by the Yostov twins.
Sorry, late.
All right. Wabble time.
Tiernan's gonna take Irene off to the side.
Yeah.
Don't people normally need like a guide to get here? We had that man. He's just here all of a sudden?
No. Sometimes outsiders just wander in all by themselves. Like Luke was wasn't Luke telling us? And Luke says, I was just out hunting witches, and then the mist settled in, and then I was here.
This place is so weird.
Izzy
offense.
says it's like a real Bermuda Triangle situation.
Except that the Bermuda Triangle, in this case, can be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up, actually. Well, when we get back, I'm never going outside again.
But if it can be anywhere at any time, it could just be in your house.
No, there's no mist coming into my apartment.
What if you leave the window open?
That's not gonna happen.
What if the delivery man opens the door to deliver a package or takeout?
If the mist makes it all the way up to the 12th floor of my apartment building with my Uber Eats driver, I guess I'm coming back to Barovia.
Maybe we could start like an indoor commune sort of thing, and then we just never have to go outside ever, like sealed environment.
Yeah, underground. There can't be mist underground, right?
I have no idea.
Outer
Maybe like that.
space. Oh, that's it. He can't get us in outer space. I wonder how the space station's doing.
What if, like, okay, so you know how NASA they have those people that are getting locked up in like that Mars simulation for a year.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
Or like that Amazon show, or no, it's not Amazon, is it? Apple maybe the silo one, right? We lock ourselves in an ex-nuclear silo.
You know, as bad as things are here, I don't know if I'd really want to go that far. Anyways, Tiernan.
I mean, at least there wouldn't be vampires.
If we're really doing this dinner, can we just ask this guy? Can we ask Voldemort? Just send us home.
I mean, we can try.
Is that weird if we just ask him?
We could give it a shot, I guess.
She looks past you at Irenia, who is watching and listening very cautiously. She says, right. That
Yeah.
Irenia, never mind. And then she sort of heads away. And before anybody crawls up my ass again, we discussed that blindness is a spectrum. She knows Irenia's voice. She's aware of her surroundings, etc., etc. She didn't, quote unquote, look over and see Irenia perfectly. Every time you guys correct me on this, you're the ones that look like assholes. Okay? I just want to point that out.
Don't put it on all of us.
all right. I'm just saying. Okay.
Mackenzie will walk off with her gal pal.
Okay. Irenia seems to be sadder after that exchange and has a sort of concerned and maybe defeated look on her face.
And Tiernan just looks frustrated.
All right. So, on that note, you guys ready to roll out?
Well, everyone else was kind of...
Now that you have a park ranger, everything will be great. He has a special ability. He can't get lost. That's not true, but it's better than nothing.
We had that on another character. Didn't turn out so well.
No. This one works. This one's a little different. Whenever you are trying to discern your direction or route, those rolls are never made with disadvantage.
He can't get lost. How did he get here? By getting lost.
Okay. Listen.
Didn't seem like the ability helped him.
This one's pretty cool because no matter how bad the conditions are, he can't ever be forced to roll at disadvantage if he's looking for directions or routes. So
we just have to make sure this man doesn't have 9 stacks of exhaustion.
Yeah, that's true. All right. But you're on the road, so there's nothing to worry about.
While they're all doing their thing, Darius will kind of walk up to Miro and he'll be... I kind of overheard what Luke and Davian were talking about, their gifts and whatnot. Luke's interesting fellow, but I don't think I want to be one of him.
Understandable.
Davian was mentioning that your kind are more like protectors.
We are. Ah, I see. It is not my place to give such permissions. You would need to speak with Davian. He is the leader of our order. I have seen great courage and kindness and a prowess in battle that would make you an excellent member of the Order, Darius. I would gladly vouch for you to Davian. Though I imagine he is very old-fashioned. He will likely want you to retrieve one of the wine stones. Proof of your dedication to the cause. This invite to the castle. It is unlikely that any of us will be able to trust you when you leave the castle until you once again prove yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
The Dark Lord has a way of dominating the minds of others. You should keep a close eye on your companions.
I don't know about this whole domination stuff. I just hope I actually live through it.
There are worse things than dying, Darius.
I started to notice that recently. Alright. Well, if we make it back here, I'll ask Davian. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'll head off.
All right. Okay. Daybreak Encounters. The Road Edition.
I mean, I guess while we're at it, may as well do descriptions for Darius and Tiernan.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was just kind of doing them like organically as it went. But as you guys assemble to travel, Thomas Chapman, you and Bones would take stock of the others. Darius, go ahead and do establish shot of Darius and of Mackenzie.
Yeah, you would see an athletic African American male, about 6'1", 6'2". If you probably put an approximation to it, like a build similar to maybe a basketball player, a boxer, celebrity rise, probably like Michael B. Jordan or something like that. His face and body are quite heavily scarred, not as badly as Tiernan, but definitely seems like he's been through it. And I guess from your information, if these people have been lost for a couple of weeks, then they've probably been through some shit, and he's seen that. Seems a bit quiet and reserved. Oh, and in conjunction with having been through that shit, you notice that his left hand is missing. It's replaced with a prosthetic. That seems like it's kind of cobbled together with a couple of different materials. There is some fine craftsmanship and then a bunch of some other stuff kind of added to it. But it looks like, I don't know if that's going to go into the actual posting. Spitting. There we go.
Thinking.
There we go.
Oof.
So it's not like the cannon part or whatever, but like up to where it gets to like the hand, claws, and whatever, he still has his normal arm, but the left hand is completely missing, and this kind of contraption is kind of strapped to his forearm and then kind of harnessed to the rest of his left arm. The African American girl that's walking a little bit in front, long brown frizzy hair, a couple streaks of purple in it, isn't dressed. They had mentioned that she was part of, well, actually no, he wasn't there for that, but you do notice that she does have a sidearm holstered to her belt, and has a couple of gear that does look like it's maybe police issued. But it looks like they're dressed in like civilian clothes at the moment, and they do have a kind of a cast on their arm at the moment.
Now, Thomas, you would, upon hearing their names, make the connection that this is Mackenzie Jackson and Darius King, two of the people that went missing. But they don't really look like the photos that were being used during the search anymore.
Mackenzie probably more so. Darius, no.
Yeah.
I think his original sketch was he had a bunch of dreads that were kind of going in front of his face and whatnot. He definitely was not as heavily scarred.
Yeah. All right.
Thomas would definitely look at them, get the name recognition, go, there were more of you. What happened to the others? And you'll start naming off Eric, Jack, and Reed, and Matthew.
So I'll leave that to Tiernan and Izzy to answer, and then Tiernan, if you could give a quick established shot of Tiernan and Izzy.
So Tiernan is possibly slightly like stockier than Darius. He's like probably about 4 inches shorter. He is sort of Irish looking. He's got the red hair. The most noticeable immediately feature of him is that half of his face is just terribly, horribly scarred from, looks like burn scars. He turns to you and he says, well, it's very dangerous here. And then he just sort of looks away.
And then Izzy says they died, and they didn't die well. And you can do a established shot of Izzy.
Izzy is a very beautiful, like, Latina woman. She's also noticeably blind.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And also OOC, I am pretty up to date on the show so far, so you can, truncate where necessary for time.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean we've been doing this for a little while. You guys are kind of at the midpoint of the campaign, so a quick reestablishment of where characters are and where they've grown is it works out. It works out.
Last season on Daybreak.
Yeah. All right, so you guys head out. Okay.
Last season of The Walking Dead, the better one.
All right, so let me clump all you guys together, and just in case there's an encounter, lols, let me go ahead and grab you. All right, so you guys head out and start walking the road. About 7 hours of traveling later, so that'll put you somewhere in the afternoon times. Come on, clock, you could do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're almost there. 6, 7. All right. So about 7 hours into traveling on the road, you do encounter 2 other travelers on the road as well. And this actually is a randomly generated encounter, and it works out really well for me as the DM, so I'm pretty excited about it. All right. This is the good one we haven't done. All right. So I'll put you guys on the map, and it'll throw everybody everywhere, because that's how they do me when I copy paste people onto maps. All right. And bring you over. Are you guys able to see on this here map?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right. So up ahead, here we go. Sitting by a campfire are 2 individuals, and these individuals look up from the campfire, and they see you, and immediately they are interested. All right. They seem to be hard-living folk with very loose clothing, and they have all manner of scars that seem to be inflicted by bites and claws, and occasional, perhaps, blades. They look over at your group, and particularly Luke, and then the woman says, "Luke, it's time to come home." And Luke looks back defiantly and says, "I'm on a mission from the Alpha." And then they say, "And as are we. We will not discuss the pack's business in front of strangers." And then he will say, "These strangers are my mission." And then the lady says, "More important things are happening back home. Please don't make this difficult."
Were you the two from the other night?
And the lady says, 3, but they are hunting.
Yo, Luke, can we trust these people?
Luke looks at all of you and says, "If I go with them, there won't be a problem. Listen, you guys need to get your shit together. Figure out what it is you want, and just fucking do it. And if you want help, it's waiting for you north of Kresik." Right. And then they kind of start packing up their putting out the fire and getting ready to head out.
You'd think they'd at least wait for the third guy to get back.
Well, they're werewolves of Barovia. They don't get lost and shit. They could travel in the woods. Most stuff can't hurt them here anyways, because unless it's got silver, they're pretty good. All right. Yeah, I was like, damn, how am I gonna unload this character? And then the road encounter was 2 werewolves in human form, and I was like, and the previous encounter was 3 werewolves in wolf form. So it all kind of worked out there.
I'm gonna call bullshit on the waiting of that table, saying that we're gonna get more werewolf encounters up north when most of our encounters on the road have been werewolves.
I mean, RNGesus is strange, but yeah, this is my. Yep.
Jeez.
All right. Can't show you the next one because oof. But anyways, all right. So the question here is, after this encounter, do you travel past your normal amount of time, or do you just kind of stop there and stop for the night at 8 hours?
I don't know. Kind of feel
And
like
I would ask them to push.
Do you want to just push the other 5 hours and just get there?
Like, this is Anna we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna probably would want to do that. Tiernan would advocate for camping.
Okay.
How many hours in when we got to their campsite?
One more hour. You could just take over their campsite if you wanted to. It's on a pretty good spot.
If we take over their campsite, does it count as being set up already?
I will give advantage to set up the campsite.
I feel like that's a good move.
And how much more travel will we have to get the Valley?
It would give us 6 more hours.
Yeah, tomorrow you'd have 6 hours.
Yeah. So it'd basically be splitting it in half.
And you could head out early ass in the morning if you wanted to, since you're stopping so early in the day today.
That's true. Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not a bad idea. The camp would still smell of wolf, which might deter natural predators.
Fair enough. Okay.
I knew there was a reason we kept you around, Ayla.
All right, camping mini game. Bum, 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 bum. All right,
Yay.
everyone, please give me a survival check. It can be wisdom, strength, or intelligence. How do you get those different stats to happen? Great question. Hold down Alt when you click it, and a mini game window will pop up that allows you to alter the rolls. I need all 5 of you to do it.
Oh fuck, this is supposed to be advantage, right?
Yep, they will be at advantage. All right. Doesn't even matter, Darius. You guys crushed it. All camping activities will be a DC 5 tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Who is going to be the lookout?
I
They
think
need to be
I'm
good at
still
perception.
statistically the best suited to that, so I will do that one.
Okay. All right. So Tiernan, you go ahead and give me the intelligence survival as you set up the perimeter. This will also be at advantage because this is still set up. Oh, right. Yeah, you feel like, man, this is going to be a pretty good night's watch. You shouldn't have to worry about anything. It's going to be great. Okay. So then we got actual camping. We'll try to move through it relatively quick. So, Tiernan, you can't do any camping activities. Anna, what camping activity are you going to do?
Who needs inspiration?
I'm at 2 out of 3.
Same.
Our newbie.
New guy gets a
is
story
only at
then.
1.
All right.
Yeah.
So Thomas Chapman, this strange yet mysteriously beautiful woman, is going to tell you a story. And with a DC of only 5, she crushes it. It's a good story.
She would
This guy that has
tell.
no idea.
She would tell Anna's version of what has happened between leaving Durst House till now.
Oh my
And-
God!
Well, as much as she can get in.
Is
When
this
he's-
is this a Patrick Rothfuss novel? Like, holy shit, man!
I mean,
she glosses over a lot.
Okay.
I mean,
so
she has
the
practice. She had to
highlight
bring
reel.
up Luke to speed too.
Yeah. Okay. So you give the elevator pitch, season summary of what has transpired. Okay, all right. That's actually a pretty good idea to get this new person kind of on board. Now, whether or not he believes any of it is one thing, but this is apparently the motivation of this acting troupe or cult or whatever. I don't know, again, how much of this Thomas is believing, how much he thinks he might be dreaming again, but this is what Anna truly believes has happened. So you know that the Dirt's Manor had a murder dungeon in the basement, full of zombies, and they had to fight Anna's baby that had mutated into a huge flesh monster. Yeah. And among other highlight reels, one of the people that went missing, apparently he died a couple of times, but it never took. Then he finally died, and his body essentially turned into a cancerous tumor and exploded into yet another flesh monster that they had to kill. This is the same man that Anna had to mercy kill once because his nephew, another one of the missing people, died in his sleep from fear, but actually, I don't know, do you implicate Morgantha in your story?
No.
Okay, who died in his sleep of fear, but then apparently came back as another zombie, and he was mad at this Eric guy for letting him die of fear, and then when he went to kill Eric asked Anna to kill him, and she did, and then they went to burn his body, but he wasn't really dead.
When you put it that way, you make it sound like we're
exactly
crazy
like
people.
that. That's exactly how it gets presented.
So it's like a whirlwind recap that takes probably 2 hours. But at the end, your head probably spinning a bit.
Feel inspired?
Yeah, but you definitely gained an inspiration from it. So you are now up to 2 out of 3 inspiration. Okay. Darius, what do you do with your downtime?
I'm just gonna relax in solitude.
All right, give me a wisdom check. DC 5. Great time to try to do that when the DC is only a 5.
Oh my fucking god!
All right, you did it, right? With
Yeah,
a
I
9,
did.
you
I
did it.
did.
Unless you have some penalties at work there.
No,
All right.
I have unlucky. That's the only penalty. I saw that too,
Okay.
and I'm like, God damn it!
All right. So you gain an inspiration. Tiernan can't do it. Ayla, what are you doing?
So unless Irina is going to spend all her time with Tiernan, she's actually going to try to pull.
I was gonna actually invite Irene to spin watch with me, but
Okay, yeah. So they're on watch. Quote quote. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
In that case, since that's going on, she will instead. Oh, Izzy or Mag? Izzy or Mag? She'll invite Izzy over and ask if she wants her cards read.
Sure, yeah. Izzy's down with that. That sounds fun.
So I don't know if this counts as a story or rest or whatever, but she'll basically do a Taroka reading for Izzy.
It could be a story. It would because it's a performance of sorts. So yeah, give me a charisma performance.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. It's only a DC 5. You've got this. Believe in yourself. There you go. All right. So yeah. All right. You do a Taroka card reading, or sorry, yeah, you do a Taroka card reading for her. And what is the general gist? Or did you want
Ooh, let's pull
you
a
want
card.
you want a Taroka card to help you? All right.
Yeah, you want me to? I will pull it randomly from the generator.
I have a generator here.
Yeah, you sent it to me. If you want me to, but you can pull it if you want.
All right, yeah, I already spawned it. It is the innocent. This represents a being of great importance whose life is in danger, who might be helpless or simply unaware of their peril.
oh great, how reassuring.
It does not necessarily as bad as that may seem. She tries to paint it as this is how you kind of start, but the dangers of the world generally try to ignore that person often before they're subjected. She's just trying to
Just trying to walk it back a little bit. Okay, okay.
It's like drawing the death card, and you're like, well, it's not necessarily death, that kind of thing.
Well, in tarot, I mean, death is actually not a bad card.
Yeah. She's doing that.
Okay, fair enough. You with your 13, only a 5 needed. Yeah, you're able to assuage her fears and innocent. And it's cute art on the card that you described to her. Yeah. So overall, she feels pretty good about it.
And I am full up on inspo, so I don't know if Izzy can take it.
No, when you do a performance for someone else, you are inspiring them.
Perfect.
Now, NPCs can't store more than one, but NPCs can be inspired. So she is carrying one inspiration now.
All right, I have it in her legendary action spot because Izzy's a legendary creature.
I mean, that works too. There is just a status effect for it, but that's fine. All right, so Thomas Chapman, this will be your first time doing a camping activity.
All right.
So there is a document called Camping Rules Detailed.
Oh, I've used similar before.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'd like to do some crafting and craft some snares. Contribute to the pot.
Okay. Hold on just a sec. Okay. All right. So as a ranger, as long as you have some rope, you will be able to craft some snares. Unless you have a specific class ability that says so. I would just I'll make them for you. I'll make them for you real quick. They will use up some of your rope though. So how much rope are you carrying? I should ask. With your debilitatingly low strength.
None, but I can use a real world token to unwrap the paracord that's in like all of his gear because he's a survivalist.
If you ask, I think we have some rope in our cart.
Listen, if there's one thing I've learned from Odyssey, it's that you can never have enough rope.
Yep.
All right. So it's at minimum you're gonna have to chop off 8 feet of rope from your supplies. So if you have rope at 50 feet, you would then for each of the two snares that you make, you would need to lower the amounts.
Yeah, we have another thing of rope in the cart.
All right. Well, thank you for the rope.
All right.
Us modern people gotta stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't have a snare item handy. I'm going to add that to the list of the prep list. But if you find that you need it, and it does take time to set up a snare, so it's not really viable in a combat situation, just let me know. We'll mark that you have 2 of them. But I'll get that made in Foundry before next week. All right, great. You guys settle in for the night. And Tiernan, despite all the rigorous off-camera hanging out that might be happening with Irina Kolyanovich, Irina Kolyana, you don't notice anything during the night. All right.
Good.
Yeah. So you guys wake up early in the morning and you head out the other 7 hours. Or sorry, not 7 hours. It was what, 6 hours. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, calendar's running so slow after the update. It was finally fast again. Now it's just creeping on me. All right. I will fight with the clock, I guess, on my own terms. I'll just record it manually while I'm waiting. So while you guys, maybe if I pause it, it'll stop freaking out so much. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And I'm always gonna ask. I think we get 1 hit die back on a short rest.
Yep. Currently, it's your level divided by 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so Thomas, you can only long rest in a sanctuary in this campaign. So despite camping and sleeping all night, you still only gain the benefits of a short rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So RNGesus continues to be relatively kind to you guys. There was that one werewolf incident, but other than that, things are doing pretty good for you. Off in the distance, you see the gates of Barovia. And it's about 10 in the morning. All right, so let me hide this and switch this to Barovia. Okay, so as you approach, famous guard Haltington has survived the massacre of the Civil War, and he shouts out to you, "Halt! What business do you have in fair Valakai?"
We're here to visit Lady Fiona.
Oh, well, that's an awkward situation, let me tell you. And Haltington looks at the other guard. The other guard shakes his head. Apparently, the other guard not a fan of Haltington. Haltington, somewhat of a town gossip, saunters over to you guys and says, "How long have you been away? It's been pretty crazy."
We've heard what happens. You don't have to tell it.
How do you know?
A bird
You
told
don't-
us.
Oh, that's a strange thing to say. I guess someone sent you a message. From where do you hail, if you don't mind me asking?
We've come from the winery to the west.
Oh, do you bring good news?
Unfortunately, we do not.
Oh, a pity. The town could certainly use some. I lost a lot of good friends in the Civil War. And you can't see their face because of their dope helmet, but they look off into the distance, and Vietnam footage starts playing in the background as they relive that horrible night.
Oh boy.
There isn't like smoke billowing in the distance in the town or anything like that, is there?
Oh no, you guys have been gone a couple of days, so it's they kind of got it under wraps. They got a fire wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Civil War is maybe a little melodramatic.
Oh, and do you say that out loud? All right.
No, just to the group.
All right. Let me see.
more
Let
like
me see.
mutiny or
Halton's, he's got training in perception. He says, well, what else would you call it? Brother turning on brother, family on family, blood in the streets, monsters,
Well,
and the massacre at the
in-
church.
where
and
I'm
you just
from,
hear
the whole
crying inside the
place,
helmet.
the whole thing would either be called a massacre or like a mutiny or a coup, something like that.
Then you
Well,
can you can imagine
Hostile
our
takeover.
desire. You can imagine our desire to go in and check on our loved ones. Then, will you let us pass?
Oh, that's true. I could be a bit long in the tooth. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
You don't have to indulge every single person.
And remember, all will be. And as they go sit, the other guard looks over and says, "Mm-mm." And then he says, "All right, we don't say that anymore." All right. So you're back.
All right, so I wanna firsthand feel what the vibe difference is.
You want a vibe check on the entire
I wanna
town.
I wanna vibe check the town in comparison to the previous vibe.
All right, give me one insight to rule all insights.
We have 14. I was gonna say we have 14 fans for us. You want to use it? Use it.
Are you using inspo on it or no?
No.
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 Okay. Man, you don't know what the fuck's happening.
Shit's fucked, guys.
I mean, you would have if you had used the inspiration, but all right. So where do you want to go first?
Anna's gonna look at Ayla and just
Probably the end, right?
give her the look, and then say we should go visit Fiona.
Oh damn! First thing.
I
Oh
think you
shit!
should go to the inn first to make sure that we're caught up on everything. There's only so much you can fit in one conversation's worth from one person.
You're so wise, Tiernan.
Thank you.
All right. So Thomas, what is your take on Valakai? Like, first of all, you've been here for 2 days now. No one has broken character. There were no quote unquote monsters while you were traveling. You just saw 2 people take the werewolf, good special effects question mark, away. And then you're now at this old-timey sort of Germanic Romanian mashup, Tim Burton-esque spooky town.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Up until this point, he was willing to shrug it off as the ravings of a dream. But as soon as he enters the town proper, he'll whistle and say to himself, "Kansas has gone bye-bye." Yeah.
Tiernan will just smirk.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit of culture shock.
All right, so the sheer size of this town, like you kind of realize that nobody would have you would have heard about this if this was actually in the mountains where you work. There's no way. There's no way. All right, fair enough.
Man, I hate to ask this, but are we passing by the town square at any point?
So right, good point. You come in from the west. The conflict happened in the east side of town.
Okay.
So you would not see this yet, even going to the inn. You would not see the real devastation of the town yet. All right. I'm just trying to clean up the tavern because a lot has changed since you were in the tavern.
Brom, make it.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
From what we heard, from what we heard, Muriel was able to get them to safety, so hopefully that means all of them.
All right, and let's see. This
But
cute
honestly,
boy ain't
that's
here
the true
anymore.
next leader of Barovia. Sorry, Anna.
Alright, so dead, and dead. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, I think we're good now. So real quick, re-establishing shot. Blue Water Inn from the outside. It's a respectable building compared to a lot of what you've seen in the town so far. You guys would go past the church on the way in. And the church kind of seems more stoic, more creepy, and has just real depressing sort of defeated vibes as you pass it. There are no people coming and going. There is nobody paying respects in the graveyard. It is almost like the people are avoiding the church altogether. But you would have passed that on your way through. All right. But then you arrived at the inn, and then you head inside the inn. Okay. The chimes above the door jingle as you enter, and you hear the sounds of Wonderwall being played, and realize that
Glad he made it.
at least Rictavio made it. And then you hear a powerful and commanding voice call out, "Well, look who the cat dragged in. Where have you been?"
We were further working on the winery issue.
He comes from behind the counter being taller than him, and he makes his way through the crowd. Well, actually, would there be a crowd at this time of day? Yeah, it's well, it's still kind of early morning, so no, there wouldn't be a crowd yet.
What else are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Tiernan goes for a predator.
Good point. They would probably want to, they'd probably want to be together. Oh shit. Okay, so you go to do the predator arm grab. All right, you son of a bitch. Yeah. So Bram Markov, age 9 or whatever, he says, "Tiernan, you son of a bitch." And from behind the counter, you hear, "Bram!" And then he like flinches as if he's taking psychic damage, and then he says,
He said son of a witch. He knew we were gonna go see Ginny.
"Yeah, that's it. Yep." Danica narrows her eyes at you, menacingly. And then he says, "How fares my cousins out on the farm?"
They're doing well now. They weren't when we showed up, but they're much better.
Okay. You notice that standing behind him is his father, Orn Mark.
Oh, Darius is gonna go to the bar.
Yeah. All right. They come out from the bar to meet with you guys, and then I assume that you kind of catch them up on the situation with their cousins on the farm, as it were.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then Erwin says, "That is some good news, at least. We fared better than most. We were evacuated from most of the danger before it got out of hand, but the east side of town is in shambles from the havoc and destruction that the Dark Lord's minions wrought that night. If not for..." and he looks over to Richard's empty chair, but he doesn't say anything. "If not for some intervening, I fear it would have been much worse." But then Danica says, "But sadly, those who sought shelter in the church..." And she just starts to tear up. She bites her lower lip, and she can't make eye contact with anybody.
We heard from Muriel. Sounds like it was pretty fucked up.
Erwin says, "It is much worse than that. Bram, go tend the bar." And he looks up and says, "Father!" And then Erwin says, "Go, now." And he heads over to the bar. And then he quietly says, "They buried Father Lucian, but all have been forbidden to go near the grave. I sent my birds anyways. The ground was disturbed. I believe Father Lucian has been turned. He has not made any public appearance yet, but I am fearful of what he will say and do when he does."
Do we know if the bones were returned? They said they would before they left, but
Danica is staring over at Thomas Chapman curiously, and so Erwin answers and says, "Oh, they gave the bones back. They placed them in the grave with Father Lucian."
would they not stop him? I'm uncertain exactly how they work.
I don't know what fell rituals or magic was worked by the Dark Lord, but he was there that night, and he handled the bones, at least that is what I've heard, without any any harm to him at all, as if it was nothing. It makes me wonder if perhaps, as Lord of the Realm,
They never mattered to him.
and as you say that, Irenia says, he is ancient. He is the land. And as she says that, Danica and Erwin murmur that as well.
Does it just spread across the bar?
Yeah, I guess it would. I guess it would, like, subconsciously, all the people would just kind of murmur it. So Thomas, that would definitely be a creepy moment for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Whoa.
Tiernan still shudders when that happens, so I can only imagine the new person.
Shit.
Hmm.
We also heard what happened with the Baron, and I guess the rest of
Yes,
his
it
family.
was the whole family, all of them.
Danica, the tears that she's been holding back start to spill, and she says, even their boy, Victor.
What happened to their house?
It has been seized, but was not burned down.
And Isaac, we heard that no one ever found what happened to him.
He's
So-
gone missing. We have birds looking for him, but there's no sign of him. I believe he is either in hiding below ground, maybe in a cellar somewhere, or that he left the town altogether.
Hard that no one spotted that big guy.
Who's
Right.
watching over the house?
Erwin says, I believe she has a few guards, mercenaries. She has deputized many citizens, some of the worst sort, who would abuse such a position. There are still guards who their loyalty lied with the people and not with its ruler. And he motions to half-hearted guard, sadly drinking over at the bar, next to the two scouts that you guys saw on the road. And he says, "Why? Do you need something from the manor? I think now would be the best time to go. It's
I know
not
of a
many.
few things that Victor had in his room that could be quite useful.
Danica says, well, I'm sure that they searched the house. That Ernst Larneck, he's been leading all of the efforts around town. He is the new Isaac, you might say. Wagner did give a speech yesterday. The roads are being reopened, which we already knew, but yesterday it became official.
Darius will lean into Erwin and just kind of say as low as possible, we heard something that she plans on making Krezek open to. Is that true?
They look at each other, and then Erwin says, yes, questions were raised when she spoke of sending aid to the Valley of Barovia. What of Krezek? She said that in time she will send representatives there to inquire as to the state of things and demand that the gates be reopened and trade reestablished.
Oh, we heard she was planning to attack.
Erwin says, hey, I don't think that is true. If that is what you heard from Muriel, perhaps she was still in a state. But in the time that has passed, Wagner seems to have cooled any aggressive rage she might have had. The silk glove has been placed back over the iron fist.
Well, at least that's good, because we have to go talk to her.
Well, I do not envy you. It is, she's a dangerous woman before. Now she is empowered, with no one to rival her. And the Dark Lord's backing. Well publicized.
Well, we have to talk to her about that, because he'll root in his pocket and he'll pull out the torn half of the leather, but I assume the seal of Castle Ravenloft is still on there. And he'll just show it to them. Called.
Danica does like a teeth-sucking sound, and she, when she sees the letter, and then Erwin says, this happens to those outsiders who prove themselves worthy. He has taken a greater interest in you. Do not be fooled. This is a cat playing with mice. If you do not go, you will regret it. But if you do, more than your lives will be in danger.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving us the heads up. Maybe if we make it out on the other side from this, we'll talk again.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, hold on. Before you leave, payment for the winery.
Oh, yes.
May as well get something out of it.
Yes. And he goes into the back, and he comes back, and he presents you with the 100 electrum pieces that were offered. If he offered you less than that, given the work that you have done, he would have gladly paid more. But that is as high as he would go.
I think that was what was agreed upon.
Yeah.
So I think
Now
I think
remember,
his dad
you have
said that he
to-
lowballed us.
You have to, yeah, you have to actually put 100 electrum pieces, because we use encumbrance, and this setting is cruel and terrible even with the money. Don't be trying to auto-convert it to gold.
If no one wants to carry it, Darius can.
Every 50 coins weighs a pound.
I barely saw my thing move.
Okay. Do you guys have lunch here before heading out, or are you in a hurry? Too much hurry to get lunch.
How much time before we have to get there?
Let me open up the calendar again. All right. So it is currently. Ooh, I paused the thing, but it's probably now traveling through town, catching up with them. It's 11 in the morning on the 31st. You have to be by sunset tomorrow night at the castle.
We leave.
Okay. All right. It's beef jerky and hardtack as you make your way to your next location in town.
I'll say as you guys are leaving, you see Ayla come down downstairs. I don't know if you even noticed she was gone, and she'll give Anna just kind of a nod.
Anna's nerves are alleviated.
Okay. As you guys are getting ready to leave, this incredibly beautiful man, he stops playing his music, and he comes down the stairs, and he heads right for you, Thomas Chapman. And he says, "Do I know you?"
He's like, me?
Yes,
No.
yes. The name is Rictavio. I'm a traveling minstrel from Darkon. Are you from Darkon?
No, I'm from Iowa.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's just I feel like I've seen your face. Are you an actor?
No, I'm a park ranger.
Oh, how strange. Oh, I'm sorry to bother you then. He turns to all of you and he says, I'm glad to see most of you are still going. It was one hell of a night.
So we've heard.
And as he
Glad
says
to see
that,
that you're still here.
he looks over at Richard's empty chair, and he says, yeah, I guess it beats not being here, or worse.
Did anyone find the body?
Rictavio says, well, we found a lot of bodies.
Specifically his.
Empty chair. No. No sign of him. But whatever that big metal man was, it got destroyed.
He threw that thing against 6 vampires.
Yeah, it stood defiantly in front of the church, barring entrance, but was quickly dismantled when he showed up.
Alright, thanks. Maybe when we get back, we'll talk.
Okay, so you guys head back out, and where are you heading now?
Lady Walkner.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Time
Do
short.
you just roll up and you're like bam bam like let us in?
That's a bad idea.
Or do you call out from like the gate essentially, which is locked when you arrive?
There was a maid that greeted us last time, wasn't there?
Well, there's a gardener, who's I guess a maid as well. She's a servant, but yeah, she would be outside, in the garden.
And Anna would call out and ask
Okay.
if Lady Fiona was available to discuss concerns with The Walking Dead.
She looks at all of you and says, Lady Walkner is a very busy woman, but I will tell her you're here, and we will see. And she hustles off to the house. Time passes.
Could Darius would hand her the torn leather, unfortunately.
Oh, would you
Yeah.
pass it through the gate to her?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. She says,
Urgent.
well, what is this?
Urgent. Give it to
Oh,
her.
a letter for my mistress. And she averts her gaze, lest she accidentally look at it.
I mean, it's torn in half, but it still has the seal.
So she rushes back in. All right.
And since Ayla knows Lady Voctor does not care for her at all, she would take this opportunity after she left the inn to run to the clothing store and no need to roleplay, but she wants to try to buy a set of, like a really nice gown, like an ostentatious.
So how nice it is mechanically is 100% how much you're willing to spend. So you tell me how much you're gonna spend, and that is how nice the clothes are.
She would have taken the 9 gold from the cart, so
baby,
so
those are nice clothes.
She'll spend 20 gold total.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
shit.
All right. I mean, that's pretty nice, I guess. 20 gold. It's pretty nice. When it comes to fashion, 20 gold, it's all right. It's all right. At least shows that some effort was put in. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Sorry, there's certain things in the D&D world that they just have like ridiculous pricing for to kind of show off wealth. You know what I mean? And that would be one of them, for sure. All right.
And she will trade in her Vistani clothes.
Oh, okay.
That's actually pretty good, because fine clothes cost like 15, maybe 20 gold.
So,
Yeah, I mean, they're all right. Listen, I'm saying they're all right. I'm not gonna tell you that they're the best clothes in the world. All right, there's much better clothes, but they're good. They're good clothes.
I mean, it's all I got without robbing.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it shows effort. It shows effort. That's the important part. All right. She comes back. She hastens you to the door. Madalena is there. and she leads you into the study where a Lady Fiona Walkner and Vasily von Holtz are enjoying some lunch. And I will move you over to that map. All right, let's see. Whoops. Hold on. All right, as you enter, she says, well, look who it is. The Walking Dead.
Greetings, Lady Fiona.
Pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to see you as well. I see that you received a letter. And you see on the table, the letter has been sort of puzzle pieced back together. And she says, which of you, might I ask, felt the need to vandalize such an important document?
He's not with us at the moment.
Ah, I see.
It was Luke.
It became a point of...
You just straight up say it's Luke?
Yeah, she sits down and says it's Luke.
All right, so when you say that, a chibi cartoon drawing of Luke is walking down the street, and then a fucking bus just hits him, and then he Team Rocket blasts off into a starburst in the distance. All right, and she says,
He
"I
hits a black
figured."
mark.
So it was a point of contention, I take it. You weren't all in agreement. Oh, and you
You
have
don't see him
another
anymore, do
new
you?
friend. Who is this handsome fellow? Oh, ooh, dogs. Madalena, if you could. And Bones kind of gives her like a warning growl, like, Madalena looks over at Fiona, and Fiona says, he seems well behaved enough. And
Lady Fiona, this is Sir Thomas of Seattle. And then she'll give him a look and say, this is Lady Fiona. And kind of, that's your cue.
Thomas will step forward and say, pleasure. Forgive me, I'm new here, apparently. It's a lovely home.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I see that this letter indicates that I will provide you with transportation. Fortunately, I was already made aware of the situation ahead of time, and I won't be providing transportation at all. Simply guiding you to the transportation already provided by the Dark Lord. Are you familiar with the Erisek Stockyard? The wagoneer and stabler?
Yes.
There will be 2 carriages waiting for you. Black as midnight. One of the drivers will be hard to miss. A dusk elf by the name of Rahadin. They will ferry you the many miles to the castle. It is good that you arrived when you did, for even with the haste they can provide through their efforts, you may find yourselves arriving just in time for dinner.
We hurried from where we were to attempt to get here quickly. I'm glad we have time.
A wise decision. Am I to trust, Anna, that now you lead the Walking Dead? I had hoped it would be such. You have the stature and the presence of leadership about you.
Well, that kind of feeds her a little bit. I think she would sort of look at everybody and say, yes, however, they have very, very wise counsel for me.
And that is another sign of good leadership. To take in the counsel of others. And she does a warm smile to Vasily von Holtz, who just kind of demurely kind of holds up his teacup, like, oh, it ain't nothing, shucks. And she says, well, I am a bit jealous of your invitation, and I should love to catch up afterwards and hear of the goings-on of the castle, and what great works the Dark Lord has planned for you.
Have a-
Would you be so kind as to return to me after the affairs ended?
I think we'll
Of
be seeing
course.
you again.
Wonderful.
A question for you, Lady Fiona.
Of course.
We have heard that in a situation such as this, a gift would be suitable. What is something suitable for the Lord of Barovia?
Well, as a lord, as an immortal being of immense power, and as an archmage of boundless talents, there is little of material consequence that Strahd von Zarovich would be in need of or impressed by. But he is a sentimental person. A gift that has meaning to you, freely given to him, would carry the most weight. Or an object of extreme curiosity.
Just give Strahd a cell phone.
If I had it, I'd do it.
I think you dropped her.
It's somebody's got it. I just don't know who. But thank you.
I think
Fiona.
you dropped it in the coffin maker's house.
Yeah, exactly.
Vasily sips his tea and he says, it is also said that he is, or was, a patron of the arts. Perhaps if a gift is lacking, you could make something of extreme beauty or perform for him something of your talents.
I had thought such. Thank you, Mr. Von Holtz.
Of course, of course. His husband, Asher, was an actor before he came to these lands. Strahd himself is known to explore all of the arts.
Only Reed were here. Oh,
I know, right?
No!
ain't
It's
none
my
of us.
time to shine.
Ain't none of us gonna be putting up performances.
all right. She'll look at the others to see if they have anything to add.
Seeing
Lady-
Mackenzie sitting next to, when Mackenzie sat down next to him, Vasily would turn to her and say, he would say, Miss Jackson, it is a pleasure to see you again, and my heart beats faster in your presence, not just for the relief of your known safety, but perhaps for your beauty. And then she, I guess she blushes pretty hard. Anyways, you continue. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So,
Darius's face
Lady
is
Fiona,
done.
if I might talk with you in private for a moment.
I see. Is this of a medical nature, Doctor?
Yes.
Of course. When we are done speaking here, tarry a bit and we will discuss.
Very well.
And does your assistant need to stay as well?
That would be for the best.
It seems the two of you have grown quite close.
Yes.
All right. Do you guys have any other interactions or discussions with Wachter or Von Holt?
How long does it take Ayla to? Has she made it back yet, or?
Probably not. They're very chatty. The two boys that run the clothier shop.
Okay, then she'll obviously get the download from the maid later and run to the the stock
So
race.
they both look like this. They're identical twins, and they don't get too much business. So they are very excited, and you go through an entire trying on dresses montage, measurements, all that jazz.
She's literally like, this. No, this is literally all I have. No, you can't upsell me. I have no more.
All right. Any other things going on here at the Walkner house?
I think Darius will probably try and talk to Vasily when Wagner is gone.
Okay, so Walkner would probably take Tiernan and Irina into another room to discuss medical matters. Okay. As she's leaving, Von Holt says, I am to away, Lady Walkner. I have much that needs to be done with the turmoil of the recent chain of events. And I must organize the humanitarian aid that is being sent to the Valley of Barovia. And then she nods to him, and he gets up and he says, Miss Jackson. And then he goes to leave. And then that's when you could probably catch him out.
Yeah.
All right.
Darius will kind of walk by. He'll actually bend down, grab the leather, and then just put back in his pocket and then follow.
Okay. Sure. Okay. He says, Mr. King, you need something.
This change in leadership was rather hostile.
Sometimes they are.
It doesn't normally happen like this, does it?
Well, normally the positions of Burgomaster are hereditary in nature. Despite being open for public vote, most peasantry simply relies on bloodline to sort things out for them. A major change like this, sadly, does bring out the worst in many people. You know how that is, perhaps.
And I have to ask you, are you cool with this? And how
It
this
is
all
not
went
my...
down?
Am I, as a citizen of Valakai, I feel that Wagner will provide a stronger hand that is more in line with the Dark Lord's plans, which is to say, not in opposition thereof, which is to say, safer.
It's safer, like going to a church and slaughtering all the people there.
That is unfortunate, to be sure. He looks a little sad when you say that, and he says, you must understand, as a servant of the Dark Lord, I do as he bids. I try to represent him in the world. Until last night, he had not been seen outside of his castle in 40 years. I bear the brunt and the collateral damage of his actions the other night. For I am his face and his hand in the world known to the populace. Now I am to share this reputation of cruelty and bloodshed. I will endeavor to temper people's response to it, but in many ways, I believe he accomplished exactly what he set out to do. Re-establish his dominance through fear. The people of Valakai had grown overconfident. The Baron's teachings had made them think they were beyond his power and influence. This was a violent and abrupt reminder of everyone's position.
If he wanted to make an example, he'd have just targeted the Baron. He didn't have to go after all the other innocent people.
Sometimes one firm reminder saves many soft reminders.
I'll just be upfront with you. I ain't happy. I just hope I don't say something out of line when I meet him.
I do as well. His temper can be dangerous. And as he says that, he kind of rubs like his arm, like he's kind of remembering like an old injury or wound.
Best of
He is
luck.
the sort of man who gives what he gets. Do you take my meaning, Mr. King?
Yeah. You receive what you put out.
But like many in power, he does not like it to go the other way.
I'll try and keep that in mind. I don't envy you trying to talk to the rest of the people out there. Best of luck. You can walk away.
All right. Holtz continues out of the house. All right. Thomas, Izzy is filling you in on who all the movers and shakers are in this conversation.
Mm-hmm. He stares in disbelief.
Mm.
It's like I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's bullshit. Why do they put up with this?
What do you mean they? The peasants? The commoners?
Like the people, just from what he's heard. You know,
'Cause-
thinking every violent dictator he's heard of, like, they eventually fall.
Yeah. Izzy says, okay, but imagine this: Putin, but also Voldemort and Dracula.
Still,
I mean, Putin ain't Dracula, and he ain't Voldemort, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping all his people in check. I wondered at first too, but it didn't take long for me to get it. And she gets real quiet, and she says, when we ran into some vampires, I really started to understand our position in all of this. And well, Thomas, I don't think I've ever been that scared in my entire life. I don't know if I'm ever going to be okay again afterwards. When we're saying this stuff, it's not joking around, and it's not make-believe. I'm really sorry that this is all happening to you so fast and hitting you so hard, and that you came looking for us and you ended up in this trouble that we're in. But it's real. And it's horrible.
well then, what are we gonna do about it?
All
Yeah,
right.
hear that?
I don't see why not. I mean, you're in the room.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
She's just listening to it and making some notes.
Okay. So in the other room, Lady Fiona Walkner says, this is a sign of my trust to you, that I would meet with you alone and away from attendance. What news do you have of my daughter's condition?
I was able to verify that it was Victor that caused it. And
Yes.
and nothing, there has been no change since his departure.
There has not, but we did discover that that little shit was practicing arcane magic in secret. He had a laboratory in the attic of his parents' house. There were skeletal cats that have been taken into custody, and all manner of other strange, esoteric books and reagents, all of which I now have locked away. They will be handed over to Strahd at the earliest convenience.
Would you like us to just take them with us and give it to him during dinner?
That would be quite helpful, actually. Yes. I will have Ernst meet you at the Airsex stockyard with the package.
Excellent. We found out more of the details behind what happened to your daughter.
Mhm.
The cat that she'd brought along, it got, I guess, squashed, for lack of a better word. And between Victor's and both your daughter's panic and reaction to the situation, he ended up cursing her to be a cat. I have looked into it further and know of a type spell that should undo it, should bring her back to herself. I'm just unable to perform such magics. I have looked into and am still looking into coming up with some sort of tincture or potion that is able to perform the same function.
I see. But there is hope. Hope
Yes.
for Stella.
Yes, definitely.
I appreciate this greatly. You see 2 green pluses appear above her head.
Just wanted to make sure that you were fully aware of the situation before we departed for the castle, just in case anything untoward were to happen. You'll know where to pick up.
A bit of advice, Mr. Beckett and Miss Kolyana. The rumors and stories that I have heard of von Zarovich and my own interactions with him, he is a very dangerous man. He will broker no disrespect, most especially in his own home. If there are those among you who cannot keep their emotions and words measured and in check, they may very likely die. Do you understand my meaning?
I do, and it's part of the reason why I'm so nervous.
Well, you'd best use the carriage ride to thwart any of those possible outbursts thwarted.
I will certainly try my hardest.
And then she turns to Irenia and she says, "And if I have not already told you, my deepest condolences for the death of your father. He was ever a gentleman and a bastion of good, a shining beacon of light in the darkness. He will be missed terribly, and hopefully the humanitarian aid that we are sending to the valley will help your brother rebuild all that has collapsed beneath the weight and oppression of the darkness." Irenia just looks like she took some fucking psychic damage, and she just nods and murmurs out, "Thank you." You two fiery redheads have a lot to do. Good luck. And I hope I shall see you again.
I share that hope. Until we next meet.
Okay. All right. Am I to assume everyone then heads over to Airsick Stockyard?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
Along the way, Darius would kind of tell everyone. They mentioned a guy named Rahadim. I think, looking through Mac's notebook, I think that was the dude that killed all the Dusk Elves, or at least all the women Dusk Elves.
Yeah, I think I remember that name from when we stopped at their encampment with the Vistani.
Yeah. So we're probably dealing with someone who's pretty messed up in the head.
On that note, he's only one of the drivers. I think perhaps Anna should ride in the other carriage.
Why?
I need to talk to you about some things.
Very well.
And I guess eventually you guys see Ayla run up to you all, maybe out of breath, and looking as done up as Crash will describe her.
No. You could go as far as you want. Again, only people that understand fashion are going to know that this isn't as ridiculous as you can. To them, none of these people are fashion people. You look like a goddamn Disney princess. You look fucking
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah,
whatever, how for 20 gold, however you describe your clothes is how it looks.
Okay, I will say it's probably like, raw silk instead of like, the nice polished silk, but I mean it's nicer than cotton, and it's embroidered but beaded but not bejeweled probably, and corseted in very like it's clearly clothing Ayla is not used to being in. Like we're talking like hoop skirt, big ball gown, like she's like running through the streets, like her cheeks are pinched, her hair's done up. It's very not her.
Yeah, and you look so fancy that everyone on the street takes their hat, like tips their hat to you and says, "Milady," as you go past them on the street.
Okay. And she gives like the cursory like smile, like the half-second smile, and nods her head and runs off, and eventually like, did I make it? Well, of course I made it. You're all here.
Trying to go to the Oscars or something?
You don't know who you haven't met any NPCs named Oscar in a while,
Yeah.
so you're not sure what they mean going to Oscar's house. But
I don't know who this Oscar is, but I wanted to make an impression by not making a certain impression, like distract him from something else. And she like mimes like,
oh, is this a high neck blouse or no? I guess that wouldn't matter. I mean, the marks would have probably healed by now, or at least
they're gone. Yeah. It's the typical like low cut, pushed up, like
oh, it's a titty dress. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you could have just led with that. All right.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So as you were rushing up, some of them tipped their hats and say "Milady," and others tipped their hats and say "Milady" as you go by. All right. So as you run up in this getup, Mackenzie just stares at you, like she can't process why you would dress up as a Disney princess for this, but she's happy for you.
I just look at her and I'm like, "Is this like a Beauty and the Beast thing? Are you trying to woo Strahd?"
I'm actually trying to distract him from the fact that I am.
You call that a distraction?
Different. She looks down at her chest and looks at Darius. Don't you?
I mean, yeah, but like also, you walked around the block and like half the people were looking at you. I don't know if would call that a distraction. I think you're taking everything to you.
But would you say they know what I am?
Probably not.
I think you look wonderful, Ayla.
Thank you. Hey, she only has like a 10 intelligence, all right? So
All right.
that's her plan.
Hey, listen.
Fucking join the club.
Hey, listen, that's an average person. And if you look around the world at average intelligence, never mind. Yeah. So, sorry, all you average intelligence.
I think that perhaps Anna, Ayla, Irenia, myself, and maybe another should be in the non-Rahadin driven car. We have some things we need to discuss on our way there.
All right. So as you are walking and talking, and you arrive at the Arasek Stockyards, one of the only locations in the whole game that Benios Maps did not make a map for. Let's see. Ernst Lanek is there. Or Larnek, excuse me.
What a name.
Yeah. Ernst. There he is. Ernst Larnak. There we go. As you see him, air guitar riff plays. He adjusts his ascot, and he says, "Oh, there you are. Well, we've got the bundle, the package." And he indicates 2 trunks behind him.
That is more than I expected. Thank you.
They are locked. He hands you a key, and he says, "The lady said you could be trusted."
Why, thank you.
Oh, also worth mentioning, I guess, because he's been very quiet the last couple of days. Thomas Chapman, there is this bullfrog that seems to live in Tiernan Beckett's backpack, and it will occasionally just crawl around on Tiernan, and Tiernan just doesn't seem to mind.
What's up?
But it has not talked in Thomas's presence. It has not spoken.
Holy shit, it can talk.
Well, no, I mean it hasn't
not
talked.
that
yet,
he
I'd
knows
say,
of.
yeah. So I guess if you guys talk to Thought, that's fine, but it hasn't talked.
Yeah, I imagine every now and then Tiernan's been talking to Thought, and
Yeah.
and Thomas is just like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
All right. Fair enough.
Just like, oh, this is Thought. He's a wizard's familiar. Of course.
Now, Tiernan, when you've been on watch, he did animatedly talk to you and Irenia, but whenever Thomas is around, Thought does not talk. You're not sure what it's about. Maybe he's shy around Thomas. You're not sure. Anyways, as you guys take the chests away, Ernst and the two God, I can't remember the name of the job that your entire job is to carry shit around back in medieval times. Porters.
Porter.
Yeah, him and the two porters that he had, because he ain't gonna carry this shit. They head out. All right.
I fill everybody else in on what these are. Like these are the books from Victor's study. Lady Fiona had confiscated them, and I offered to bring them to the castle with us.
All right. So as you are discussing that, a guy walks up. Hold on a second. And as this guy walks up, all of you begin to hear the sounds of people dying, babies being
that's
murdered,
wonderful.
women screaming as they are mutilated and tortured and killed, men crying out in a language you don't understand, but it sounds like Elven from the famous Amazon Lord of the Rings. So yeah, you hear these terrible screams just start happening, and then this guy walks up to you and he says, well, I see that you're here. The Walking Dead, I presume.
Yeah.
When he's
what
talking,
is
does that
that?
sort of fade into the background a little bit, or
No, it's still just
like,
fucking
slowly
blaring.
get
Yeah,
him over it?
yeah. Here's the thing, you can clearly hear him, but you can also not stop hearing the horrible bloodshed and murder happening in your headspace. And he says, are these trunks yours? If so, I will have them loaded onto the wagons. There are 2 wagons to accommodate your company's great number. I suppose you should decide who will be where. The journey will be long, over 12 hours of hard riding. We will not be stopping to camp, but you could try to sleep in the wagon, if it pleases you. I will make 2 stops during the journey, that you might use the restroom and stretch your legs. After all, as honored guest of my master, I want you to be as comfortable as possible.
And what a job you're doing.
All right, and he starts loading stuff up. He motions for the other rider. Now this other rider, let's see, is head to toe wearing ornamental but maybe not ornamental. It actually looks like it could function. But some very nice full plate armor. All sorts of embellishments. You got the red half mantle cloak, got a little pompous feather out the top. You hear, Tiernan, with your very good perception, and you hear as well, Thomas, what sounds like bone wind chimes echoing and clattering around inside the armor. That's weird. Anyways, this guy goes and he starts loading the things onto the wagons.
So no one's
All
gonna
right.
say it, huh?
So if you want to ride with Rahadid, you can put yourself by him. If you want to ride with Perverse Veteran, move your miniature over there. There is room for 6 mediums in each carriage. Bones refuses to go into the Rahadin wagon. You would have
Actually,
to do you'd have to do a really good handle animals to convince him that he should go in there.
Actually, Thomas will hesitate and he'll say, if I've got my timelines correct, you guys were invited before I showed up. I might not be invited.
You're probably gonna be by proxy because you're an outsider.
Okay.
Don't worry, Thomas. You'll be with us.
Worst case scenario, you'll have to stay in the stable house, which I'm sure will be more pleasant than what we'll be doing.
As he goes into the carriage, you'll say, that's the first thing you've said I believed so far about this place.
Okay.
There's...
Everyone stares at the Rahadin wagon like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Darius is just gonna,
NPC wise, yeah.
Darius is gonna put a shoulder on Mac's put a hand on Mac's shoulder and just be like, I'll see in a few hours.
She says, I don't want you to do this alone. You see her doing a head count. 1, 2. So there's 4 more seats left in the Perverse Veteran wagon.
Anna will encourage Mackenzie to go with Darius.
Oh, dang. All right. Give me a persuasion.
I'll use a heroic flair on her if necessary.
Oh, dang. All right.
She's not a cow with her. Well,
She is an NPC though. Oh yeah, you don't have to use it. She says, "Yeah, I can't let him do this alone." All right. All right.
Wait, is Ayla going in that one? 'Cause I need to talk to Ayla too. God. All right, Anna, come on.
If you pull her back, she won't like,
So you fuckers gonna let me go by myself with this guy?
Irina watches you go, and she says, "Tiernan."
No, you stay in the other one. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I need to keep an eye on the new guy.
Exactly.
And then Thought whispers to you, "Oh yeah, I'll keep an eye on your lady love. Don't worry, nothing will happen to her while I'm around."
Thank you.
Yeah. And he whispers to Irina, "Yeah, I ain't running that fucking carriage." Right. Izzy looks over at you and she just shakes her head. It ain't happening.
It's
It
okay.
ain't happening. All right. Okay.
You really don't have to do this, Mac.
Max says, "No, it's fine. I don't want you. We need to go over strategies and stuff." Yeah, I mean, how bad could it be, right? So
You can go to the other card. It's okay.
she looks sideways at Anna and she says, "Maybe I'll see how I feel when we make the first rest stop."
That's true. Maybe we should all rotate.
Now, for everyone's real-life sanity, I'm going to turn off the sound effects. The official Rahadin's Deathly Choir song by Jacob Soliel on YouTube, because this is the most supported game I've ever run in my life. And I'm going to put on some nice travel music. That's what the other carriage is listening to, the nice travel music. You guys hear that non-stop, and it will get worse, as you will find out.
I am very tempted with Darius' 3 charisma if he wants to ask Rahadin if he can turn it down.
Now, Rahadin has made no indication that he even knows that this phenomenon is following him around. He has made no indication that he knows this is happening. It's like a person with bad BO. Like they don't realize that,
What
you know,
odds?
maybe they'll look stinky.
Yes.
All right. So you guys
Darius
are gonna
holds his
roll.
tongue.
Oh,
I rolled it. Darius holds his tongue.
okay. So you guys roll out of town, and you begin traveling along the roads. Each carriage is pulled by two mighty horses, as black as a moonless night, just like the ebony wood of the carriage themselves. The carriage wheels are reinforced with iron and steel, and these things and these horses are running fast and hard. You get the sense that they are probably going to kill these horses at the pace that they're keeping. Because of the wood and metal wheels and the unmaintained roads of Barovia, this is a terrible experience. You are bounced and jostled hard. And despite the plush and lavish interiors of the wagons, you are still being kind of tossed about, and there are no seat belts. But the carriage ride begins, and at some point you feel like they are going off road. They do have windows, and you can certainly look out the window at any point when I'm describing something. But the carriages do bank what seems like a hard right and start going through the actual goddamn forest. And you hear the sound of tree branches whipping and snapping against the carriage. You hear the sounds of rocks being kicked up and striking the undercarriage of the wagon. But it just keeps, not wagon, but carriage, it keeps going. Just a fucking off-road through the woods as it's traveling.
With,
He said we could sleep if we wanted to.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to sleep with this fucking carriage.
There's this vehicle proficiency.
Uh,
How well built is this thing to be taking this kind of punishment?
Realistically, there's no way that you could be driving an old-timey carriage through the muddy woods in the rain at the speed that you're going and not have the whole thing just crumble to pieces.
This is
So this is either the most incredible engineering of old-timey carriage making of all time, or there is magic at work.
Yeah, I think Darius is starting to lean towards the latter.
All right. So, those of you in the Rahadin wagon, I will need you to give me wisdom saving throws during the first third of the journey.
I'm gonna spend a DM inspiration for this.
Okay.
Same.
How many is this? Just one? Or?
Just one. Yep.
Ooh,
This represents the long-term exposure to his deathly choir. Alright.
Oh fuck, Mac will have to make one too.
Yep, Mac needs to make one. I need one from Ayla.
That was with advantage. Not that matters.
Oh, it was with advantage? Oh, okay.
I used a DM inspo for
Okay.
it.
For these purposes, I will treat natty 20s and natty 1s with a bit more weight because of the nature of this situation. Okay. So it looks like everyone has rolled. Okay. A testament to her her strong will and her keen mind, Mackenzie is able to block out the sound after a while, sort of noise blind herself to it. The rest of you, Tiernan, did you with advantage or you did regular?
I just did regular.
Okay, yeah. So the rest of you, even Tiernan with a 15, wait. Darius, was that your save or was that Mackenzie's save?
The first one was Darius's.
Oh, Darius,
Yeah.
sorry. Darius, with your natural 20, you are able to meditatively kind of block out the sounds. Mackenzie is not. So everyone except Darius, you take a point of exhaustion. If you had well rested, you would simply just lose your well rested buff. All right, and this is to represent the constant grating sounds that are occurring. And let's see, Ayla, did you have well rested or no?
I did. I just removed it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, you guys stop at the first pit stop. There's a light rain, and at this point, it is evening, moving towards sunset. All right, Irenia. Oh, I should ask. During this first leg of the journey, do you guys discuss anything in your respective cabins?
Anna would give the very basics for etiquette to these
Okay.
folks, just like the thank you, please, don't talk unless you're spoken to. If you don't know what to say, look at Anna, and she will answer for you. That's basically for the NPCs. For you guys, I don't care what you do.
And Tiernan is looking back and forth between Ayla and Anna. It's like, listen, I talked to Fiona. You two, you need to just completely always control yourself around him. If you express any of the feelings that you've expressed in the past, you will die. You will be killed.
I am aware of how dangerous this creature is.
Just,
Yeah, I don't know if he would like being called a creature.
it doesn't matter what he says. Doesn't matter what he does. Just for now, we know that you hate him. We know that that's not going to change. Just do not express that.
So what should I tell him?
Did I become a child when I put this dress on? No? Then shut up.
Mackenzie says, I think there's where we come from, they say, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So anytime, just say the words that you're gonna say to yourself and say, was that nice? And if it wasn't, just don't say anything.
Hold on a second. Hey, friend, can you hear us?
He makes no reply as he continues to drive. He's a fucking professional.
Yeah, okay, limo driver. He has the windows turned up, but you know there's some fucking microphone that's back there. I mean, we're going to be going to his house, so I mean, it makes sense that we need to watch what we say. You don't diss a man in his own home. Unless you're actually looking for a fight.
Tiernan, I had thought to use this as a time to learn more about him.
And I think that's absolutely what we should do here.
I wasn't going to tell him everything.
I assumed that you didn't plan on it. I just wanted to be another reminder to keep everything controlled.
I appreciate you so much, Tiernan.
All right.
And just so you guys don't think that came out of nowhere, one of her ideals says, independence. I'm a free spirit. No one tells me what to do.
Oh, yeah,
So-
no.
I think we figure.
So that kind of tone taken with her, she's like, no. So I'm...
You could teach a master class of making a killable character in Curse of Strahd. I'm just saying.
Yes.
So in the other wagon, Thomas Chapman, this young lady, Irenia Kolyana, she seems a bit shy and demure for about 3 minutes. Then she never stops talking. She asks you many questions. A lot of them have to do with movies, something she's very interested in. She wants you to tell you about the movies, and she does, after about 15 minutes, ask you if you have movies on your phone.
Actually, Thomas left his phone in the truck.
She says,
but-
are you serious? Oh, well, what is your favorite movie, though? Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean?
I'm gonna be honest. I've only seen the first couple.
Oh,
But,
Eric said that's all you needed to see was the first one.
Yep.
But someday I'm
yep.
going to watch all 6.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Addictive.
Although he would. Yep. Although he will tell her about the most recent movie he went and saw in the theater. And I had to Google this one to see what's playing during that time.
Yeah.
About this ancient hero named Black Adam, played by a guy named The Rock, and
Oh.
how he was locked away in the sands of a great desert for thousands of years until
Okay.
some
Do you
hapless.
just tell her the whole movie? Because she'll listen to
Oh
the
yeah,
whole fucking... Okay. Oh man.
we got time.
Oh, Izzy's listening too because she didn't get to see that, and she's like, honestly, I never thought I'd be happy to hear about this movie, but I am very happy to hear. Please keep going.
Yeah,
All right.
and he will. It's like for a DC movie, it was worth watching at least once, maybe
Wow.
just once though.
All right, now it's time for the politically charged, they weren't here to see it happen thing. Izzy says, I think I would have seen it anyways because The Rock is such a stand-up guy, and he's got such a great reputation. He hasn't done anything to really sully that, so, he makes a movie, maybe it's the same movie over and over again, but it feels good to go and see it, knowing that at least in Hollywood there's still one good guy left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you guys stare at the camera because you were taken away from Earth before he had his DC drama blow-ups and all of that nonsense. So, all right. Then yeah, you successfully survived the Irenia Kolyana skill challenge, and you make it to the first rest stop. All right. I will say, as a park ranger, this frog listened raptly to your story. If you didn't know any better, Thomas Chapman, you would assume that this frog was understanding the things you were saying in a very meaningful way.
I'm trying not to stare into Hypnotoad's eyes during the voyage.
All right. When you stop for the break, Mackenzie goes off to the bushes and vomits because of the psychic pressure inside the carriage.
Darius will just hold her hair back.
Okay. It's not so bad, right?
You tune out after a while. Also, I imagine Thought was rapidly listening to the parts when Dr. Fate was being talked about.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, wizard, that's that powerful? My master would be happy about this.
Yeah. All right. Rahadin is checking on the horses. It is strange. The horses do not seem to be afeared of him, but most assuredly, Bones cannot tolerate the presence of this man.
Yeah,
I want to go over towards him while he's checking on the horses.
Oh, okay.
And
He says, Mr. Beckett.
Greetings, Rahadin. Listen, I don't know if this is an uncomfortable subject for you, but is there anything you can do about the screaming?
Screaming?
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Is someone in the carriage in discomfort?
All of us, actually.
Truly. The carriage, this is a testament to the carriage's construction then, for I heard no such screaming from any of you.
I see. No, we weren't screaming. It seems
he raises an eyebrow.
That when we're around you, there's a constant cacophony of screams and murder.
Really?
Yes. Has no one... Did you not... Were you unaware of this?
He says, hold on. He says, I had never heard that from anyone.
Well, I'm sorry to be the one to bring you this news.
Perhaps I will ask my master at his earliest convenience to check me over for curses or some supernatural malignancy that I may have picked up in my travels. I appreciate your patience and understanding for the rest of the journey.
Of course.
All right, he just goes back to checking on the horses.
I just go back over to everyone else, and I'm just like, he says he didn't know?
Actually, you know what? I think Darius will go to the other wagon and see how they're doing.
All right. So does anybody want to trade out? Otherwise, I guess you guys get back in.
How many people can each carriage hold?
Comfortably 6. Otherwise, they'd be squeezing, and with the jostling and everything, it would be extra miserable.
Mac, I think you should ride in the other carriage. I noticed how much that affected you.
It's
awful. So ride in the other carriage. It's okay.
okay. I mean, you want me to try to convince Irene to ride with you guys? I feel like
do not
No.
want to subject her to this.
I just think maybe she could drown out the sounds, because she never shuts up.
That's possible. But I still
like a bard.
So on point.
still
Okay.
prefer her than the other.
She looks at the carriage and she sees Irenia following Thomas Chapman around while he's walking bones, and she's just asking him. She's like, "Well, if you were a movie star, who would play you in the movie? Who do you think would play me in the movie?" And she kind of like wiggles her butt at you and like bats her eyes.
Oh.
Alright, well, it looks like they're okay. Darius goes back to the other carriage.
Now Mackenzie stands confused. Which vocalization horror would be worse? Because
Well,
like
Tom-
I think maybe I could be a movie star. I mean, I'm sorry, it's always.
Oh well, Thomas during the break played some fetch with Bones, and after one time running after it, he will bring the stick to her.
Oh, okay. She realizes that Puppy trumps Irina Gossip, and certainly trumps Psychic Destruction. So she brings the dog and the stick back to you guys. Irina says, "Oh, you're here. Now we can have girls' night. Oh yeah, basically sleepover party inside the wagon."
Last time we tried that, nothing bad happened.
Poor Tom, he's the new Eric.
Tommy's just going to tell us all about the other movies he's been seeing. Okay, so they
That was a
hop
nice stare.
Yeah, I imagine a person that chooses to be a park ranger is maybe not an extrovert. I'm gonna make that assumption. Yeah.
He went to the mountain for quiet.
Yeah. All right. So you guys hop back in. Okay.
Yep.
All right. During the second leg of the journey, things intensify quite a bit, mixed in with the sounds of women and children dying, men dying, women dying horribly, babies being slaughtered, horrible acts of depravity, the sound of tearing flesh, gurgling blood, guts being removed. You guys start to hear the voices of those that you have lost. And if you were there for their final moments, their death cries and death scenes audibly play out.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Darius was there when his brother
Ew.
died. Okay. So this is a wisdom save?
If you feel, and this is entirely player-based, if you feel that that would influence your save, the save will have to be made at disadvantage.
Oh, 100%. This is disadvantage
Okay.
with Darius.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
Yeah, so Anna, there's definitely some baby Walter crying thrown in there on top of everything else.
I'm trying to think of who she's not been present for that's
Yeah.
died.
All right. Okay.
Bones
So
roll too.
Oh no, you guys are fine. Your carriage doesn't have. If you want to roll against Irenia, you can. But yeah, like you guys are fine. The radius of his ability is only about 15 feet. You know, the size of a wagon. Yeah.
This was a planned attack.
What? Anyways, all right. The DC was a 16. So if you rolled and got a 16, you decide if you rolled with advantage or not. You would gain another point of stress/exhaustion on a fail.
And this removes well rested.
Correct.
All right.
Yep. All right. During that time, is there anything significant that would happen during the travel? It's probably about 3 hours or so. All right. In that case, at like 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, he stops for another restroom break. Okay. He hops out. He produces some fresh apples and some water from a barrel. He fills a bucket and he starts to water and feed the horses and take care of them. Perverse veteran just sits there, staring out into the misty forest. Thomas Chapman, as you go to walk Bones again, Irenia follows you like a little duckling, asking you everything you know about movie stars, celebrities, the movie industry, films, things like that.
Tiernan will, during the stop, Tiernan will intercept Irenia.
Oh, okay.
Be like, be lighthearted around me for a little bit. That carriage is awful.
Oh, how bad is it? Does he like farting a lot? Is somebody in the carriage farting with you?
No.
Because I think Mackenzie is nervously farting. It's like stinking up the carriage. It's probably the worst carriage ride you could have ever had.
You don't think it's just thought?
Thought looks around for Thomas Chapman, sees that he's not nearby, and he says, "Oh, I don't fart. Frogs can't fart. We have a cloaca. It's already busy being so many other things."
So
I'll burp
what happens if you get gassy?
Just burp it out.
So you just burp instead of do
Yep.
your burps smell like farts?
Oh, they taste like them too.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and by the way, before you come at me, I Googled, and they don't know if frogs fart or not. Because they're
research.
Because, get ready for this, for one thing, their sphincter muscles aren't very strong, so any gas escaping from their rear wouldn't cause enough vibration to be audible.
Your FBI
STDs.
agent must be so
I
confused.
appreciate all of the research you put into these games, Crash.
Your FBI agent must be so confused. First, this dude's looking up heads and boxes. Now he's looking up frog cloacas. What the fuck?
All right. So yeah, she just time around. She's the anti Rahadin. She's the anti Rahadin. She very quickly boosts your spirits. Okay. Do you explain to her how bad it is, or no?
No.
Oh,
But
okay.
at the end of the break, just sort of long exhale, and then, all right, kiss on the cheek, and then he's on his way back over.
Okay.
I see
And
that.
ask if anyone would switch.
Izzy looks at you. She sees like your eyes aren't fucking focused. You're just kind of like stumbling a bit.
There's room in that carriage. If you
Yeah,
wanna-
she says there's still room. You don't have to switch. Come on in. And she
Thanks, I couldn't
intercepts you.
tell.
And she says
Technically, there's still one more spot.
she says Irenia's on a real girls' night out kick, so
I'm
I think
used to it.
she's just real nervous, I think, about going to this thing, you know. All right. So Irenia gives a passionate kiss to Tiernan, which is noticed by Rahadin and the perverse veteran. Don't know why I mentioned that. And then Irenia hops into the carriage with Thought and everybody else. And she says, Anna's here too. Oh yeah, it's going to be real good now. Anna, should I have him tell you about Mr. Fate and Dr. Rock and there's this movie? Oh, it sounds really cool. Can you tell that one again?
I love stories.
So everyone turns to you so that you can once again tell them what happened in Black Adam. All right.
Didn't realize you were playing a bard, did you?
All right.
While the others had gone out to the other
Mhm.
wagon, Darius would have kind of asked for Ayla to take a short walk with him to stretch his legs.
Sure.
And just ask, how you feeling?
Well, these shoes are a nightmare, but otherwise.
You
I'm
traded
okay.
in your shoes too?
I mean, Vistani slippers aren't going to cut it, right?
All right,
So-
fine.
Oh,
You know what?
so you
Take the inspiration. Jesus Christ.
With a full 9!
Jesus Christ. I know we rolled for stats and you guys are role playing, but goddamn. All right. So refreshing. So refreshing. All right. So you guys are walking. You hear the squelching of mud on her very expensive shoes. Okay.
How you feeling?
I actually am fine. I don't know if you noticed, but when you were talking to Erwin and Danica, Lady Voctor's boy was at the inn, and he was looking at me. So I took advantage of the situation, and don't worry, he is fine. I left him asleep. I'll sleep it off, but I am fine.
So a little bit of a nibble?
Yes, just a top off, if you will. I feel much better and calmer now.
And that was probably before you came into the wagon of fucking screaming voices and everything for 8 hours.
Yes,
straight.
it is actually quite upsetting. Ugh. Thank you for checking on me. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's fucking rough in there.
And she'll assume it's for, care about her, not the fact that you're just worried about her eating, Mackenzie.
A little bit of both. But his fucking charisma, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. You would probably tell that it's at least an earnest check-in on you.
I appreciate that. Let's go back and endure.
I've already been hearing my brother's voice for so many years. It's both nice to hear it again, but also really shitty to hear it in this way.
Just remember, this is probably what they want.
Yeah.
Don't give them the satisfaction.
Okay. So, as you guys hop back into the carriage, and it heads off for the remainder of the journey, I need the remaining people in the carriage to prepare their wisdom saving throws. Now, this exposed thing and the fact that you guys have been awake for so long, you hear not just the sounds of the people that you care about, but now they are blaming you for their death and asking you why it had to happen like this. Why you didn't do anything about it.
Darius asks himself that question every day he wakes up.
All right. So however you feel you would handle this, but go ahead and give me another one. And then I need everybody to give me a single constitution check against just being awake too long and jostled in the carriage and not really able to sleep. The Constitution DC is only a 10, but if you do not make it, you will gain a stack of exhaustion.
Is it still 16 for the wisdom?
That is still 16 for the wisdom. Yep.
Okay, good.
Failure on that. Yeah, failure on that would result in another stack of exhaustion.
I think this is going to be a... oh boy.
Okay.
Wow, nice.
So the con save
right.
didn't go well.
You're very tired. So yeah, you would get an exhaustion from that.
I think it's
all right.
going to be a straight roll for Darius because years
Mhm.
of therapy probably advantage, but it's still
Okay.
trauma, so it's just going to balance out for him for the wisdom save.
All right, works for me. Let's see.
Didn't help.
All right, so I'll do a quick con save for Izzy, looking for a 10. Con save for Bones, looking for a 10. Con save for Mackenzie, looking for a 10. Con save for Irenia, looking for a 10. Oh, they overdid it. They overdid it again. All right. I guess she would have had well rested also because you guys did stay at the vineyard. All right, that works out. Okay. So you guys feel the incline as the road begins to climb a mountain, and then just like goddamn, Bram Stoker's Dracula, you hear the thunder, you hear the rain, and looking out the windows of the carriage, you do see off in the distance the gates of Castle Ravenloft. And I'll toss this up. Do they not pop out good? Alright, I'll just take you over to the scene real quick. Alright. And so with the carriages riding up to the castle, that is where we will call it for the week. Okay. So, quick announcements. Tonight we got Mythic Odyssey, Island of Gold, for reals this time. Tomorrow night we've got prep for Outlaws of Alkenstar. Tuesday we've got Abomination Vaults with DM Ashwin. We've got Cyberpunk Red with Dom. Wednesday, play some more Dragon's Dogma, because even though they told me that I was going to the final conflict, and even though everything about it was the final conflict, and even though we killed the boss of the game, it wasn't actually the final conflict. It was like beating the Elite Four in Pokemon. They were like, nice job, kid. Now you can play the real game. So that's still happening. Thursday, Curse of Strahd Nightfall. We'll continue. Friday, Icewind Dale with Orpheus, and we might be doing another vodcast. We did a really good vodcast this past Friday about DMs saying no, and I think it was pretty good stuff. So if you're a DM and you are getting a little worn out on the rule of cool and the yes and culture, but you don't want to end up one of those DMs that just says no to everything, I think it's a good listen. I think we kind of cover a lot of examples and a lot of do's and don'ts for that style of DMing. Saturday morning, for reals, the finale of Red Hand of Doom. And then Saturday night, maybe some Solasta, ? I think secretly no one actually wants to play it anymore. But maybe, I don't know. And then Sunday morning we'll be back here. Also Saturday afternoon, Raiders of Serpent Seas with Orpheus. Does anybody have any shouts, announcements, or whatnots before we adjourn?
Just a question. Should we all have had well rested after the vineyard?
I'm
don't think we
assuming.
Because it was under
No,
the
you're right.
sanctuary.
If you had exhaustion when you went to sleep, you would have gotten rid of the exhaustion or a wound, and that's why some of the NPCs didn't have it. So Irina would have exhaustion because she was getting over a wound.
I had a wound too then. So that was why I didn't have it. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like, I didn't have it, and I didn't think that I was supposed to have put it on, but I couldn't remember
I'm going
why.
to say that Thomas and Bones, due to your chronic nightmares leading up to this, you have not had a good, well-rested night in a while. So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, all right. Cool. So that is where we'll leave off. Congratulations on making it to Castle Ravenloft. I'm excited to see how things turn out next week. So, and welcome to Jones and Thomas and Bones. I think this is going to be good.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'll try not to drop the ball when we roll into combat.
RNGesus
You
walks
can't
with
do
us.
worse than Reed. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
happens. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, what can you do?
yeah. RNGesus is so deeply involved in all of the combats in this campaign that you could be doing everything right and try your absolute best, and it would still just be a shit show.
Yep.
Remember,
Yeah.
even hit sponges like Reed had their purpose. You know, I took
Mm.
all the critical hits, so no one else had to.
Not all of them. I think Darius has gotten crit once or twice in
I
this
think
campaign.
it was just once or twice. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, but your wounds. Oh, it's just bumps and bruises. Reed. Oh, your foot's eaten off. Oh, your hand's chopped off.
I lost the hand pretty early on.
The foot. I gave an arm and a leg for this campaign.
Yeah.
Also,
You guys get a sticker. You guys.
I was
get a
about to
sticker.
ask about that.
Yeah. There you go. Let me adjust that for you. Boop. Boop. There we go.
Yeah, when it comes to combat and crits and injuries and all that stuff, it's just the Kevin Hart meme. You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today.
All right.
I'm not
so
too
you-
worried. I spent the last week rewatching the Death House episodes, and I still showed up.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, poor Jack
Mm.
and Dana and whatever Reed's boyfriend was named, Adrian.
God damn!
Wow.
Somebody's moved on quick. All right. Their names are down here. It's right down here at the bottom.
He doesn't look in that corner of the thing anymore. He has a permanent
It's traumatic.
residence.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
fair.
already familiar with that area.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now to make more room on your dashboard, I will probably be moving your Taroka cards over to your map table.
Yeah, we're gonna
so
put all your dead people somewhere else.
Oh no, I'll leave the dead people here. But I mean, these Taroka cards, the ones that are important for the adventure that you need to keep track of stuff, I'm gonna move those over to the other, to the map table, because that's more of like your planning table. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna move those over there. Just
yeah,
if you look for them next week and they're not there, that's where they're gonna be.
That's totally
So.
fair. We haven't gone to look for any of those anyway.
Damn. You know.
But there's two of them here.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you're at the castle now. I mean, could happen. Could happen. It's a sandbox game. Whatever you guys decide to do. RNGesus walks with you.
Lord Jesus, take the wheel.
All right, so I'm gonna head out. I hope everybody has a good Sunday, and we'll continue this next week.
Thanks for running.
That's good.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Oh, thanks for having me.